Welcome everybody to the Air Board of Selectmen meeting of Tuesday, May 19th. I'd like to have a motion to approve or amend the agenda as needed. Robert?
Madam Chair, through you to the board, under my report, respectfully, the removal of item 2, the appointment of the conservation agent, that will not be coming forward tonight. And if the board is willing, an additional item under my report, which is the waiver of the right of first refusal for the sale of a home at 308 Autumn Ridge Drive.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And then I would just like to amend and do the announcements right after we've approved the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, agenda is approved.
I said all in favor.
I
said I almost said all in
I
favor.
know, I was waiting for you to. So, okay, so I have a couple of announcements. Thought somebody was calling in. This Saturday on May 23rd at 10 a.m. is the Memorial Day Parade, and I hope everybody who's around will please come down and observe it. On June 8th at the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Auditorium is the J-Boss Supertown meeting. It starts at 7 p.m. Last day to register to vote for the Supertown meeting is next Friday, May 29th from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. So I hope everyone will have high attendance. And another announcement that I would like to make. Some of you may have observed that on Friday, May 15th, the flags were at half-mast. This was an observation of the Peace Officers Memorial Day. Each May, our nation salutes the American women and men who put their lives on the line every day to maintain public safety and hold accountable those who break the law. On Peace Officers Memorial Day and during Police Week, we recognize all of those who have dedicated their lives to this vital task. With heavy hearts, we mourn the heroes taken from us only because they choose to serve, and we rededicate ourselves to carrying forward their noble legacy. Therefore, each flag in the Commonwealth was lowered to half-mast in accordance with an order from Governor Baker. Okay. And that was all the announcements, correct? Anybody have anything else?
Yeah, just great weekend in the town of Ayer. We had the Open Air Festival. I came down Saturday night. It was a nice event.
I came down Saturday
afternoon.
Had the best Italian sausage.
Yeah, and also the Bresnahan Run was a great success. I saw Mrs. Copeland cheering runners on as I staggered by. But it was a great success, great turnout, and it was a really nice weekend for the town. So hats off to everybody that was involved with everything.
It was a nice time. Okay, anything else? All right. So I would like to introduce Detective Kolarski and Ms. Yakel. I'm sorry. It gives me great pleasure on the behalf of the Board of Selectmen to welcome Air Police Detective Andrew Kolarski and Ms. Jessie Yakel. I got that right? Okay. A teacher at the Ayer Shirley Regional High School to talk with us this evening with a very innovative classroom program they have recently implemented in conjunction with Rutgers University that teaches forensics to high school students. So before I turn it over to them, I would like to say that this is an excellent example of the program of a collaboration between the police department and the regional school district working together to educate our students. I believe some of you may have seen it on the Facebook page, on the Air Police Department's Facebook page, and I think it might have been on the town's Facebook page also. I remember seeing the pictures. It looked really cool. And I understand also that this is going to be a regular class offering, and that Detective Kolarski and Ms. Yakel have the opportunity to promote this program in our schools and the town on a national level. So with that, I'd like to invite them both down, and maybe they could give us a little brief description of what it was.
Sure. Hi. Welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Different sitting here for these reasons.
This is for fun stuff, though. You know?
It all came together, I think, with the help of the support of Chief Murray, as well as School Resource Officer Bigelow, who's integrated into the schools. And it gave Miss Yackel someone who could be a point of contact in order to get the ball rolling with an idea she had. So she had reached out to Officer Bigelow, who's the school resource officer, and told me kind of what she was looking for, and it kind of just exploded from there, because I like to think in three-dimensional, and I think it worked out very well. We were able to reach out to a professor at Rutgers University, as you had stated, Dr. Fiorini, was able to give us a lot of material that we had to sort through, and it was made for a high-level college course, and that's where Ms. Yackel came in with making it so it could be applicable to what her students could do based upon only being high school students. But I was quite impressed with how smart these kids were, as far as how fast they picked up the math that she was showing them, and some of the math that they already knew, and took stuff that they had learned from previous years, and were able to apply it to the stuff we were teaching them in the class. They were able to basically what we did is we did a whole week of crime scene, a day of crime scene class, a day of how to collect evidence class, then we did a day on blood splatter and how to measure blood splatter and find out a point of impact, a day on cooling, Newton's law of cooling, which I couldn't tell you about, but Ms. Yackel could. And then a day on fingerprinting, and a portion of class on trying to determine someone's height by their stride length. And they took all those together. After the week of being taught that, the following week they walked into a crime scene that we had staged, with Miss Yackel being the deceased one who couldn't help them because she was deceased. So it was part of the thing. They had to figure it out on their own. So,
Good idea.
So you were the tape that they taped?
Yeah, I was the dead body, and then it was the perfect excuse for me not being able to help them. I
Yeah.
just say I'm dead, I'm sorry, so it was good.
As a detective for the town, it was nice for me to be able to get to do something more in a positive light. I always deal with people in a negative manner, as far as a criminal investigation, some other investigation we're doing. So it was nice to me to be able to have the opportunity to interact with people in a different manner. And I really enjoyed it. I think it was beneficial for the police department and the school to show the resources when we pool together what we could actually do for them. And it shows how good our schools are doing. I mean, this is some high-level math, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. All thanks to the Air PD. Everybody's like, oh, well, I thought of the idea, but I was not thinking three-dimensional. I was thinking a worksheet of like 2 pages. I didn't think it would blow up this big, so the kids loved it. They had a lot of fun.
Well, I saw some of the photos and everything, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then, you kind of filled us in a little bit more about it, and I was like, this is really cool because you took this, what you thought was just a little idea, which I thought was also a good example for everybody as to what one little idea can do if you just reach out to somebody, and you got lucky, you reached out to the right people, and I hear, kudos to you. There was quite a few kudos for you and everything, and it sounded like a lot of fun. So, I'm glad that you both attended because, I wanted to not only say that was really cool, congratulations, thank you very much, but also just to kind of show everyone some of the things that are going on in the school system and how little ideas can become something much bigger. And, I wish I could have had something like that because that would have been really fun. I was a big Nancy Drew and Harriet spy, so, I love that stuff, So I thank you very, very much, and we look forward to hearing more. Yes, Chief?
Other than being a lot of fun, maybe Ms. Yackel could explain why this program came about or what her idea was.
Without getting into the high-level math, it's a trig class, and so there's a lot of angles and lengths and everything like that. So I was playing off the idea of given a certain angle, you could be in 2 positions at once. So a couple of years ago, I thought it would be cool to do like a scavenger hunt, and then I don't know, this year or last year, one of the years was like if we could do a murder mystery, like back in the day, like that would be fun. So I asked Officer Bigelow, and then I met Detective Kolarski at the school, and then he emailed me. He's like, "What do you want?" So, and like that day, I think I had 5 or 6 emails. I didn't even get to read them all from him, and he's like, "I've already contacted someone." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." So yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah.
Yes.
So did the kids really become engaged, and
Oh yeah, they
Did they-
paid more attention than I
did
did.
they all get A's?
No.
I think it's
That
really-
first week, yes, but then some did not solve the crime correctly, and they
I'm
would
sure
have
it was
arrested.
difficult.
Yeah.
I think it was very difficult, and the way it was set up was that you could fail it
Mhm.
if you didn't do if you weren't following what was taught to you.
Uh-huh.
There was the ability to at least fail a portion of the project.
And the math was all part of it.
The math was all part of it. Yeah. Yep.
So if
And
you're
they-
not good in math,
if they
you had a problem.
couldn't, right? If they couldn't get the math, they
I would never solve it.
they
I wouldn't-
accused
I
the wrong
wouldn't-
person. So yeah.
Chris?
That's good.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A couple questions. What, the Rutgers connection, is it someone, a professor you knew, or is it just?
Google.
Really?
I took her idea, I
That's
Googled
pretty
it, and I found a couple examples out there, and I saw that he had run a whole, basically a semester course on crime scene mathematics or forensic mathematics, and that he had done a final exam that was basically a murder mystery.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
awesome.
reached out to him, and he was more than willing to help us and excited about helping
That's
us.
great. And just back to I think this exemplifies why the school resource officer is such an important
Mhm.
position in the town for the police department, because this probably doesn't come about if Jen Bigelow was in the school.
I wouldn't have even
And, you know,
known.
now you've created relationships with these students as well. So, I mean, it's hats off to you and Chief Murray and Lieutenant Gill and the whole department. I think it's awesome.
And the kids had fun. They missed. This past week was the first week they weren't there for 2 weeks, and no, it was the second week, and they were all bummed. They were telling me last week.
That's
we
how we
missed
feel when
them."
we don't see them at contract negotiations.
So let's see, you taught them math in the real world.
Mhm.
You taught them how an idea can grow. You showed how collaboration and teamwork.
Mhm.
Straight A to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to you.
And answered the age-old question is, when am I ever going to use this in life?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, thank you very much.
Thank
And,
you.
How did you do?
How did I do one? I didn't do any of the math.
No, okay.
No, but he set everything up, and he knew.
Well, he does math very well. That's why.
He
it was,
very well.
Those are usually percentages.
Not good enough.
No, he set everything up and wrote the whole script, and
Oh, good.
it made sense in his head. I admit it didn't make sense in my head. He had to explain it a few times.
So would you do something again next year?
Yeah, we're in
I
trouble.
think through this, they've already was a lot of students inquiring about
Oh, good.
whether there's going to be something available.
Oh, good,
So
good.
I checked with Chief Murray, and Chief Murray said as long as they want us, we're more than willing
Oh,
to
beautiful.
offer our services to do it again.
Good.
excellent.
It'll be
Yeah.
a different one, though, different scenario.
Stephanie?
What grades level were they?
This is juniors and seniors. So it was an elective class, and I sort of got to pick last year who was in it based on grades. So I knew they could handle, because it was challenging math. So
Yeah.
I knew they could handle it. So, but yeah, we're in trouble next year. It's a lot of kids
Yeah,
are
they're gonna make you
interested,
step it up.
and yeah, we're already.
We're already
I'm thinking.
researching other ideas of
Like,
things we can do.
Yeah,
Well, thank
Pressure's
you.
on now.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. You're going to have to top yourselves each year.
I know.
Yeah, so.
We'll only have to top ourselves every 5 years.
Yeah, we'll just
out.
keep recycling.
There you go.
So,
Well, thank you very much for coming here
Thank
and
you.
telling us about it. And this really was a lot of fun reading about and everything. So I think this is excellent, and we look forward to hearing about it more.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank you.
Have a
much.
nice evening.
Good work, everybody.
I know.
All right.
Hi, Mary.
Yeah, it's kind of warm in here. He either freezes us or he stings us out of here. So, okay. So, anybody here for public input? Anyone? Okay. All right. So, moving on. Tonight we would like to present Thomas F. Gibson, Chairman of the Middlesex County Retirement Board, who's going to give us a little presentation. So if you'd like to come forward.
Thank you. And I'm joined tonight by Lisa Maloney, who's our Director of System Operations at the retirement board as well.
Okay.
Yes, I'm in control.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you for being here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I don't have anything nearly as exciting as the forensic math class.
Yeah, you can't top
But
that.
I do have a lot of numbers, so. But math was never my strong point either. Yes, Stephanie, I'm sorry.
I just would like to introduce you
Sure.
to all of these people. You met Janice Livingston,
I
our
have.
chairman. Gary Luker is the vice chairman, and Chris Hillman is the clerk. Robert Humprian, the town administrator, and Carly Antonellis is the assistant to the.
Okay, so I'm Tom Gibson. I'm the chairman of the Middlesex County Retirement Board, and I'm joined tonight by Lisa Maloney, who is our Director of System Operations. Lisa joined us in February after spending 16 years with the Mass Teachers Retirement System, and she's been a tremendous asset to our system going forward. Stephanie, of course, is a member of the Middlesex County Treasurers of Middlesex County Retirement Board Advisory Council, and Kevin Johnson as well has been a longtime member of the Advisory Council. So Ayer is pretty well represented at our biannual meetings of the Advisory Council, one of which is tomorrow. So we'll be seeing Stephanie again tomorrow. So I compiled this PowerPoint because I'm so excited to come out and talk to our member units. I mean, the opportunity to do that is not frequent. So when we are invited, we like to really gear up for it and present a lot of information. So some of the things on the slide may be more important to the board than others, but I'm going to leave that on the presentation so you can have a reference point down the road if you need any information. Any questions that we can't answer tonight for you, we'll be sure to get you an answer as soon as we can. So I'm just going to launch right into this, and please interrupt anytime you want if you have any questions, and we'll be through in about 3 hours.
I know you won't. I know you enjoy it, Tom, but
I can.
This is just a summary of what we're going to talk about. Some of these things are more important than others, and let's just launch right into it. So in Massachusetts, none of our public workers contribute to Social Security from their public earnings. We're a non-Social Security state, and that's important for our workers who may also qualify for Social Security benefits based on their own employment or the employment of their spouse, because there will be a reduction or an offset in most cases of the Social Security benefit because of that public pension. And we'll talk about that later on in the in the presentation. So, and by the way, and the employers don't contribute to Social Security either, so they contribute to our retirement system. That's an important issue. They do, however, public employees and employers contribute to Medicare portion of the FICA, which is 1.45% of salary. So there are 104 contributory retirement systems in Massachusetts. There were 105, but the town of Athol had their own retirement system. They were just recently absorbed by the Worcester Regional Retirement System. We may see a move towards that regionalization going forward, where some of the smaller communities who have their own retirement system may be looking to voluntarily or involuntarily join the larger county or regional retirement system. So the retirement plan for all your public employees, all of your public workers, police, fire, DPW, what have you, is Chapter 32. It's a form of a general law. That's your retirement plan. Those are the plan documents. And that's why every time the retirement plan is going to be changed, it can only be changed by an act of the legislature. And every retirement system has 5 boards. By the way, the state and state teachers are the 2 largest retirement systems in the city of Boston. So Middlesex County Retirement Board the system ranks 4th in size of all the retirement systems. And that's the board itself. We have myself, and the advisory council member is Brian Curtin, who's the town treasurer from the town of Burlington. He's the elected member, elected by all the other treasurers of the 71 units in the system. The 2 elected members are Ed McLean Jr. and John Brown. Ed is a firefighter from the town of Burlington, and John Brown is a retired fire lieutenant from the town of Wilmington. They run every 3 years and are elected by the members of the system. Our appointed member came on a year ago, Bob Healy. Some of you may know Bob is a city manager, retired city manager from Cambridge. Been there many, many years. We're very fortunate to have him join us. He's been a great asset to our retirement board since he's come on board with his experience in municipal management. So we meet every month or more. Some of the board members complain that I sold them a bill of goods by telling them they'll be meeting once a month, but we drag them in there on a regular basis. We're fiduciaries to our retirement system. Unlike other boards and board members, we actually are personally liable for the management of the assets of our members. And we're overseen by the Public Employee Retirement Administration Commission. It's quite a mouthful, so I'll just refer to them as PERAC. They are the state, they audit us, we report to them, they oversee everything we do. But we are an independent governmental unit. So who gets into, so what is the system made up of? We have about 9,000 active workers, 5,000 retirees, folks getting a check from us, and 3,000 inactive members. Inactive members are folks who at one time were employees and members of the retirement system, left public service, but left their money in the retirement system so they could come back at some point in time and reactivate their public service, or maybe wait and collect a deferred retirement if they meet the qualifications for a retirement. We have 71 units in our system, 31 towns, of which Ayer is one, very important one, however. 20 housing authorities, school districts, water districts, and the East Middlesex Mosquito Control Project. I always put that up separately because it's a separate governmental unit. Now, the reason Ayer is in the Middlesex retirement system and does not have its own retirement system is because back in 1945, when the retirement laws were codified by statute, if your population in the town was less than 10,000, you became a member of the county retirement system. If you were over 10,000, then you could have your own retirement system for your public employees.
That's still the case?
That's still the case, right. So there are 54 seasoned towns in Middlesex County, but only 31 belong to the retirement system. The rest have their own retirement boards. So, Town of Ayer, 92 active members. This is of January 1st, 2014, which is the date of our last evaluation. 92 active members, 75 retired members, including surviving spouses of deceased employees who are receiving a pension, and 31 of those inactive members, 8 with vested deferred retirement rights, meaning they could come in tomorrow and say to us, I want to start collecting a retirement allowance.
I have a question. Even though we can't collect the pension, are we considered active members because we contribute?
When you say we, are you talking about the Board of Selectmen?
Yes.
Well, if you are an elected official and you're compensated, you have the right to join the retirement system. It's an option. It's the only public sector position that has an option whether or not to join the retirement system or not. However, back in 2009, they amended the law so that if your compensation is less than $5,000 a year, you wouldn't get any credible service. I'm not sure what the compensation levels are for the Board of Selectmen.
We get no credible service.
If we put 3 of us together, maybe we get
Okay,
one.
well, well,
So up until those 3 years, I'll just give you, I was elected in 06.
right.
So those years are credible? Those 3 years are
If
credible?
you were joined, if you remember the system, yes. But after 2009, you no longer get credible service.
Okay.
However, if you had prior service somewhere else,
Or future service.
you could purchase that service. So,
But we are one of the active members if we are contributing.
yes, you're considered to be an active member because you have every other retirement right as a member except the right to get credible service.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that in a minute. So how do you get into the retirement system? Well, when they passed those reforms back in 2009 and put those $5,000 limits in there, they didn't indicate that you had to make that money, make that amount of money in order to join the retirement system. So we took a supplemental regulation and had it approved. So right now, permanent employees must be regularly employed in a permanent position for at least 20 hours a week and earn at least $5,000 in order to join the retirement system. If you have any employee who does not fit that qualification, they can't join the system, they can't contribute to Social Security, they have to contribute to a deferred compensation plan governed by OBRA. And Stephanie's aware of that and takes money out and puts it aside for those individuals. Again, temporary employees can get in the system after a period of 6 months. If you work less than 20 hours, you can't get into the system. If you make less than $5,000 now, including, as of September 1st, 2010, elected officials and appointed officials who make less than $5,000 per year are ineligible for membership in the retirement system. We talked about OBRA, talked about that, because see how fast I'm going through these slides already.
Slow down, will you,
So,
Tom?
I know.
Still
And
3 days left, right?
If you're employed more than 20 hours a week, you'll get a full year of credible service work. If you fall below 20 hours a week, we're going to prorate your credible service when it comes time to calculate your retirement benefit. So let's get into the money. Let's get into the big numbers here that we all like to see. So we're $1 billion system now. As of year end this year, we have over $1 billion in assets in the Middlesex retirement system. We get our money from 3 different sources. Members contribute a portion of their paycheck. You folks, of course, contribute from your budget, and we invest that money and we get returns on our investment. That's the only sources of income that we have. And our money is invested through the Pension Reserves Investment Management Board. Back in 2007, we transferred the management to the state agency that invests the money for the state and state teachers' retirement system and other municipalities and local boards who choose to contribute. They're about $63 billion system right now. They have opportunities and benefits that we couldn't get because of our size, comparative size. So we're satisfied and very happy with our investment program that's run through PRIM, as it's called. And you folks may have some of your OPEB money invested through PRIM as well, so you're familiar with that operation.
Correct.
So again, this is a nice pretty graph that shows where money, the retirement system's assets come from. And this is all Massachusetts pension fund receipts, not just Middlesex. And this is a study that was done by the National Institute on Retirement Security. And it measures where the money came from. And as you can see, the employers contribute over 36%. And the balance comes from the employee contributions of 21%, and the rest is investment earnings of 42%. That's the pie that makes up that money that we have in our system. So this is where an asset allocation, of course, 93% of it is invested in the Crit Core Fund. We had to keep those other alternative investments in our portfolio because they weren't liquid. We could not transfer them into Crit. So we are managing those until they end. They're all limited partnerships that have a finite termination date sometime in this decade. And as they expire, we do not renew them. We also keep cash at State Street Bank for payment of benefits and capital calls and things of that nature. We'd like to have that money aside just in case, at least 3 months of pension benefits set aside. Doesn't make any money for us, though, the cash, unfortunately. If you have your own CDs, you know what the interest rates are. They're even worse in these funds that we keep it in. So again, there's another asset allocation that PRIM adopted last February. It's a new one. It shows your expected returns over 5-7 years and then a 30-year expected return, what the risk is. So they're pretty well diversified, the assets of the retirement system. And PRIM will tinker with that every so often. No real wholesale changes. The investment returns have been very successful over the long term, and we'll show you that next chart. It shows how our growth has been since 1995. Unfortunately, 2008 was a disaster for everyone. Even your own personal portfolios took a big hit there. We lost almost 25% of our assets. But we gained it back a couple of years later, and we're back on track. We're back on track to be fully funded by 2035. Another graph shows what our investment returns, how well we've done versus what our assumed rate of investment return has been. And as you can see, since 2002, we've slowly lowered that assumed rate of investment return to now it's under 8%. 7 7/8%, and at the next valuation, we'll be looking to reduce that even further. But we do that on a gradual basis, because any sudden drop in the assumed rate of investment return would result in a very sizable increase in the appropriation that we send out to our member units.
Yeah, that slide right there really dramatizes what happened in 2008.
Right. Right down. Okay, so if you want to see the investment policy statement, it's on the PRIM's website, and that's the reference right there. So Town of Ayer contributions and benefits. Let's drill down a little bit into Ayer specifically. So back in 1988, the unfunded liability situation of public pensions in Massachusetts was getting out of control, and the legislature recognized that, so they passed a law that said, look, we have to get this fully funded. We have to have 100% funding. You have to have enough money in your kitty to pay the benefits that are due to your members. So you have to start paying off that mortgage. We're going to give you 40 years to do it. And believe it or not, in 2008, halfway through, we were almost halfway there until that market collapsed. So what they did was they extended the time to be fully funded to 2040. Now, we've picked 2035 in Middlesex, so we want to leave some wiggle room just in the event we have another 2008, which of course we hope we never see again. So what they've done over the years is they've also required the boards to pay off that unfunded liability. So for every year, the towns were just paying enough to pay the benefits of their employees that particular year and not putting aside any money for the unfunded liability. Same problem you're seeing with the health insurance right now. Well, we saw that back in 1988. So employees who come to work for the town of Ayer are required to make contributions to the retirement system. And as you can see, those have increased continually since 1975 to 84, 84 to 96. And after July 1st, 96, employees pay 9% of their salary to the retirement system in retirement contributions, plus an additional 2% of compensation in excess of $30,000. So the contribution rates for public employees in Massachusetts are some of the highest in the country. Just a couple of years ago, there were some lawsuits filed in Florida because the state legislature required public employees to start contributing to their own pensions. They went from 0% to 3%, and about 4 lawsuits ensued challenging that. The legislature was upheld 3%, but that's the rate that they contribute to the pensions in Florida, 3%. So we pay a lot for employees. So I'm not sure if anybody working in town of Ayer is still a 5%, or maybe Mr. Johnson would be a 5%er because he started so early. I'm not sure, but I was a 5%er at one time. I started working when I was 19 years old in the courthouse down in East Cambridge, and they were taking 5% of my pay, and I was very upset about that because I was only making $90 a week, but 5% of it was gone to the retirement. That's really how I got involved in this at an early age. So any questions on the contribution rates?
How do you feel about it now?
I took my money out of the system. Now I'm 9% plus 2% of my compensation. So it was a mistake to take that money out in 1983. So every 2 years we have a valuation of the system. We have to look at, what are our assets, what are our liabilities, how much are we going to need to pay these pensions going into the future, how do we get the money to pay the existing pensions and also get the money to fill up the kitty to pay the unfunded liability. So the valuation that we have results in a normal cost, an accrued liability, and the unfunded liability. And we hire outside actuary. Siegel does our, God bless you. Siegel does our actual valuation. They've been doing it since 2002. We have a separate study for each member unit. So we carve out each member unit's assets and liabilities. And that's a very kind of unique way of doing it. Most other systems have an aggregate based on payroll that kind of mixes in Group 4, Police and Fire, with Group 1 throughout the whole system. But if Ayer wants to hire more employees, if Ayer wants to pay them higher salaries, well, they're going to pay for it, not some other town. And vice versa. If some other town wants to hire more employees, then they have the liability for those pension benefits, not Ayer. So as I said, we're going to be fully funded by 2035. And every year we send you a bill, which Stephanie gets every year, and then dutifully sits down and writes us a check. And it's based on that funding schedule. And we revise that every 2 years, so it's a moving target to keep those numbers fresh. Siegel, as I said, is our actuary, and the funding schedule has to be approved by PERAC. And we'll be fully funded in 20 years, 2035. And then you can really concentrate on that retiree health insurance and for the liability.
I can't wait.
Okay. So when they did the
Jerry will still be here.
so
Come on.
Sitting right there.
so when they did the 2014 actuarial study, they always look at the assumptions, because I always thought math was an exact science, but it's really not an exact science. So they have all of these actuarial assumptions, and of course we know that retirees are living longer, so they're going to be collecting a pension longer. So they have updated mortality tables that reflect that increased longevity of retirees that get built into the funding schedule. As I said, we reduced our investment return assumption for the 2014 valuation. We also reduced our salary increase assumptions get built into the valuation as well. There's an assumption that employees' salary is going to increase by those percentages. Now you say, well, gee, we need to give a 4.75% cost of living increase to our employees. How does that number get so high? Well, you have to include also step increases, as well as collectively bargained agreements or managerial increases that you give to non-union employees. It could be a touchy subject sometimes. I don't want to get too much into it. So that every time we change those assumptions, it changes the amount of accrued liability. But also, in this case, it also reduced the normal cost, which is a good thing. So, for 2014, for the entire system, it's $100 million is our appropriation that we need to get from our employees. The town of Ayer, as you can see from fiscal year 15, 16, and 17, those are what the numbers are going to look like. The 16 and 17 numbers are based on that fiscal 2014 valuation. So you take a little dip in 2016, but then it goes up in 2017. And under the statute, you can pay this bill twice a year, July 1st and January 1st. However, if you pay it all up front, you get to save yourself a modest amount of money, maybe 2%. Thank you. About 2%. Lisa's the math major.
Second there, the way it was written on the screen, it made it look like that is the discount amount.
That is a
That is the
discount amount.
discount amount.
That 1343292
Is the
is the discounted amount. The 1368991 would be the non-discounted rate.
Okay, I'm just making sure I read it.
Right.
Okay.
So we expect that Ayer will be paying the bill on July 1 in full, and we'll take advantage of that program that
That's
will
what we do,
save.
right?
Maybe
Yeah.
not right on
Save
July
some.
1, we have to.
We'll give you a little wiggle room on
Fiscal
that.
year.
We do discount it though, correct?
Yes. So this is a little breakdown of how that number is arrived at. Normal cost, which is 5% of the payroll, the unfunded liability. Every year you've got to chip into that unfunded liability. That's a really big nut. That'll go away in 2035, that unfunded liability. Then you also had an early retirement incentive program back in 2002 and 2003. How many folks remember that? So you have to pay that off separately. And that accounts for $33,000 of that appropriation. The members' expected contributions are almost $500,000 as well. Those are just interesting numbers we put up there to show the where those numbers are derived from. If you want to see the whole valuation, it's multiple pages. It's on our website, and so feel free to look it up. Plenty of numbers on there. So let's take a look at the benefit payments though. So here's who gets what as a retiree of the Middlesex retirement system. And the first row across is called superannuation. It's a Latin term. It really means the regular retirement benefit that people work X amount of years, they reach a certain age, and they retire under statutory formula. Ordinary disability under Section 6 are folks who can no longer perform their services but have more than 10 years of creditable service. They can retire at an ordinary disability, and what that will do is accelerate their age to 55 using the same years of credible service that they have. If they're a veteran and they have a disability, they can retire at 50% of their salary. A termination allowance, that was actually done away with in Chapter 176 of the Acts of 2011. Termination allowance would give a slightly enhanced retirement allowance to an employee who had 20 years of service and lost their position either through an abolishment of the job or termination or discharge through no fault of their own. You know, sometimes a new administration comes in and just says, look, we appreciate your service, but we want our own folks in here. So they can, at that point, they're probably mid-career, so let's give them a little boost. Governor Patrick didn't like that, and as part of the pension reform law in 2011, it was removed, but only removed for members coming into the system after April 2nd, 2012. So for most existing members in the system, they have that benefit there if they are terminated. Accidental death are folks who receive a benefit because of the death of a spouse in the line of duty, whose death arose out of in the performance of duties, I should say. Option C, retirement survivor, those folks who regularly retired and then their spouse died and now they're collecting a benefit. 12(2)D, again, folks who die while actively employed for a non-job related injury. 12B are just children alone when there's no surviving spouse. And Section 101 are folks who could not pick option C when they retired for disability retirement back before 1997, before the law was changed. Those survivors get a fixed benefit of $9,000 a year right now. We're going to look to increase that to 12 tomorrow, Stephanie, by the way, so just so you know. It's a local option, it has to be approved. Accidental death, Section 100, those are benefits paid to surviving spouses of police officers or firefighters who are killed in the line of duty. We have two right now, both police officers who were shot, and one was shot and one died as a result of injuries breaking up a barroom brawl back in 1981. Okay, so let me go back to that 1 second. So you can see for all of the benefits that we pay, the median allowance is $18,286. That's the median. So compare those with Ayer specifically. So these are the benefits as of the end of last year. So we had some people retire. So these numbers do not match up to the 1/114 numbers. So these are 12/13. These are the freshest numbers that we have. 45 normal retirees receiving a median allowance of $16,000. 5 ordinary disability retirees, median allowance of 11 accidental disability retirees. Those are usually the most expensive. That's 72% of your pay when you go on an accidental disability because of a job-related disability. We have accidental death benefits as well being paid. Actually, we have one person who's getting 2 benefits through a quirk in the law, getting their own, an option C benefit and an accidental death benefit.
So they're dead and they're a survivor?
They're a survivor, and they're also, so they're getting, so there's an option C survivor, and they're also getting a benefit under Section 9. The law allowed that when they changed the law back in 1997 to allow option C for disability retirees. They didn't change the law that said that the survivor could also claim an accidental death benefit if the person died for the same reason for which they were retired. The law has since been changed, that loophole has been closed, but as with any other statutory change to the retirement plan, it can only be prospective in nature, it cannot be retroactive. And 2 active member survivors and 2 Section 101. So the median allowance paid to town of Ayer benefit recipients is $15,550. So I've broken down the superannuation benefits a little bit. That's the normal retirement, so you can see who gets what in increments of 10,000 there. So, you know, system-wide, we have 22 retirees getting 6 figures in a retirement allowance out of 4,129 superannuation retirees. Looks like Ayer doesn't have any of those. So you can see where the town of Ayer retirees fall in. So 25 of the 45 get less than $20,000, as a matter of fact, in their retirement allowances. So I think those numbers are instructive when sometimes you will hear criticisms that every employee is retiring at 80% of their pay and they're all making a lot of money on their retirement allowances. Well, the facts belie that. It's just not true when you look at these when you look at the hard numbers. As a matter of fact, I put this slide in here because Peric has done a study that shows if a Group 1 member, that's a non-police or fire, comes to work after 7196 and stays a long time, 25 or 30 years, makes a career out of working in town of Ayer, and retires under superannuation, and we meet our investment return, that individual would have paid enough money into the system along with his investment returns to fund his or her own retirement benefit for the rest of their life. So we really have a hybrid system right now. The old legacy ones and the new employees who are contributing at a higher rate of pay. How am I doing for time, Madam Chairwoman? Am I doing okay?
Not quite Thursday.
All right, okay. Well, I'm going to move right along. So I'm going to try to summarize the 3 waves of pension reform. So as we know, back in the last decade, there were a lot of high-profile media reports about abuses of the public pension system, and the legislature went to work. And during 2009, 10, 11, they passed 4 bills that reformed the pension laws. And the first one was Chapter 21 of the Act of 2009, and that was the low-hanging fruit, as Michael Widmer put it, the president of the Mass Taxpayers Foundation one time. He said, they just went after the low-hanging fruit, and they did. And most of the benefits they took away actually impacted themselves as elected officials. So I don't think they get enough credit for doing that. This is a synopsis of some of the changes that they did. Again, most of these were high-profile abuses that were in the media. The next year, the outside section of the this was the Municipal Relief Act. No, this was the outside section of the state budget. They capped pensions in Massachusetts. So there is a pension cap. For unfortunately, it only applies to people coming into the system after 1111. But there is a cap now of pensions in Massachusetts. And there was a local option to increase the minimum allowance paid to surviving spouses, which we talked about earlier, from 6 to 9. That was adopted by the Retirement Board and the Middlesex County Retirement Board Advisory Council. Lisa, I know you're dying to say something here, but I'm sorry if I'm monopolizing the conversation.
It has been noted.
Okay. This is the Municipal Relief Act, which increased the COLA base, which we have done in Middlesex County. We're now at $14,000 for a COLA base, and all state teachers were increased to $13,000, and all the retirees, over 2/3 of the seasoned towns, have a higher COLA base than $12,000 was. So this is the big act that changed the benefit structure. So employees coming into work, coming into the system after April 2nd, 2012, have a different calculation applied to their retirement when they retire. They've increased the normal retirement age, first of all, to make it more in line with Social Security. The law also increased the average annual compensation. Instead of a high 3-year average salary, they use a high 5-year average salary. And they increased the early retirement reduction so people can retire earlier and get a pension. But they're going to do that, they're going to take a bigger hit on the pension they do receive. So I put those in bold because those are the numbers. Those are the ones that really impact the pension benefits being paid. The combined impact of all of those would see 11 to 14% reduction in the planned cost. And as a matter of fact, Governor Patrick says this was going to save $5 to $6 billion in over the long term. So Social Security, talk about that briefly. So as I said before, if you get a pension from Middlesex County and you also are eligible for Social Security, either through your own earnings and contributions to the Social Security or through your spouse's, in most cases, you will have a reduction in your Social Security. Now, the reduction, if it's your own Social Security, there'll be a formula to reduce it, but you won't lose it completely. However, if you are collecting a benefit on your spouse's Social Security, the formula they use may in fact wipe out entirely the benefit that you would be receiving once you start to collect your own public pension. You would lose your spouse's pension if it's more than 2/3 under the formula that they have. So, Lisa, you want to talk a little bit about the new computer program that we have running up there, because I see our time is running out, and I want to leave just a couple of minutes for for questions.
Right, I was talking with Kevin about it a little earlier, and Stephanie will hear this tomorrow, but we've been working with Pension Technologies Group to implement a new pension software application. And our staff is currently in the process of testing the application to make sure all of the calculations are accurate and the letters we intend to generate are generating properly and our reports are accurate. And one thing we'll be doing is reaching out to the units to ask for test payroll files from your payroll vendors so we can test receiving contributions through the new application, making sure they're landing in the member's account and that we're able to work with that data that you submit to us. And we hope to go live in the fall. So that's where we're at.
What was the cost of that?
$735,000.
We've capitalized that over a long term.
Yes.
I think it just might.
It's a big number, but I'm hoping it's going to be worth every penny. There's been some unpleasant experiences on the state level with new computer software, as I'm sure you've read about in the papers.
Yep.
And even the city of Boston is converting to a new computer system for their pension plans, costing $5 million, and we don't think it's anywhere near as efficient as the program that we are incorporating.
Good.
So I'm not going to belabor this. I'm going to end my presentation at this time because I see my time is rapidly coming up. So I want to thank the board for their undivided attention during this very scintillating presentation about pension and benefits.
Very interesting.
It was very well presented, yeah.
I got a couple questions.
Okay.
Are you seeing less contributors? The municipalities hiring less people?
I would say no.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, they may be hiring just as many, if not more, but what we're seeing is hiring less full-time employees. And
Okay.
maybe splitting a job to two employees, 18 hours per employee, so that the employee would not have membership eligibility in the Middlesex County retirement system.
Do you see that affecting anything going forward?
No, we know that the municipalities are under the gun financially and are looking to maintain their service levels while at the same time not incurring greater and greater liabilities for health insurance or for pension benefits. So, but some are just inescapable. You have to replace full-time employees. So our membership, I would say, has been pretty consistent over the last decade.
I'm sure if it does fall off, that's part of the assumptions anyway, that you will.
It'll be
adjust
factored
to.
into our valuation, absolutely.
And I heard at some point they were talking about doing something similar to a 32B, Section 9A that we have with the health insurance where we can charge back another
Yeah,
municipality.
that's in existence and has been for many years.
Oh, it
So if someone worked in the city of Lowell, for example, for 15 years, and then came to Ayer for 15 years and retired from Ayer, and we're paying a pension, every year we would charge back 50% of that pension to the Lowell retirement system.
You do it?
We do it every year.
Okay.
Conversely, if someone worked in Ayer for 15 years and then went to Lowell for 15 years and retired from Lowell, they would send us a bill back with 50% of the pension. So it's called Section 38C, and
Okay.
some may tell you it's a wash. We send out bills, we get bills, just like the 9B and a half.
Right.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's the same principle.
Okay, so there's nothing we have to do as a municipality?
No.
That's done
We do this
internally
automatically.
through- Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
I just, to go off Gary, what were we talking about last year we weren't billing?
That was OPEB, that was
it OPEB?
health benefits.
Health benefits, okay. Right. No, I appreciate you pointing out the people aren't retiring with 80% of their salary. That was a good slide, because we do hear that a lot. And we know it's not true, but
Right.
perception sometimes.
Yeah, and that's why we jump on every opportunity we have to come out. We would come anywhere to make our presentation, because all we can do, we can't advocate, we can just get the facts out and let people make their own decisions about the benefit of the public pension plan in Massachusetts.
It's a nice little slide we should keep handy in the office.
Well, I mean, I think we could put the slides on the website for people to review too, with the info out, so. Okay.
Through you, Madam Chair.
Cobb.
Tom.
Cobb.
There's no, Cobb?
Cobb.
Okay. You don't have any problem if we were to put this presentation on our website?
No, we can say
Okay.
that, we'd love you to do that, as a matter of
Okay.
fact.
Great.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark?
Sorry, it's my.
I thought this was really informative, and I think, I know a lot of my staff in Public Works would get something out of, maybe not as detailed or specific about certain things, but a lot about the eligibility and the different options, and maybe we could have a presentation to the town employees and we'll
Sure,
do it.
that's another popular presentation that we have. It's tailored differently. Some of the slides are the same, but we get in much more detail about the benefits and the option selections and things of that nature. We just did one in Pepperell last week, as a matter of fact, and it was very well attended. Pepperell's a smaller town than Ayer. I found that out.
Is it really?
Yeah. So as far as population, as far as public employees.
Sure.
They have volunteer people.
So
call people.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
it went over very well. What I find the problem is scheduling it, because the members may want you to have it during working hours, and the employer may want to have it after work, and sometimes it runs into a little friction as to when. So sometimes we suggest, let's split it. Let them knock off an hour early and stay an hour late beyond their time, if they want. But we're willing to do it. We appreciate the
Well, it's one of the
opportunity
nice
to do
things
it.
about us having long Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Is because we're after other
Sure.
people's normal work
Yeah.
days and,
So
It's still in the evening.
one of the outreach programs that Lisa will be working on will be setting up a program like that. We're going to utilize our 8 regional schools that we have in our district. The teachers in those schools belong to the teachers' retirement system, much as the teachers belong, and Ayer belong, Ayer surely. Yeah, they're in the teachers' retirement system, but the non-teaching employees belong to the Middlesex retirement system. So we're going to take advantage of our regional schools, auditoriums, and things of that nature, to have regional presentations made for members and beneficiaries, and anybody in the public who wants to come can load up that lecture hall, and we will make our presentations. That's on Lisa's list.
My to-do list.
Her to-do list is getting larger and larger every day.
all right.
Okay? All right.
Anytime.
Thank you very much for
Thank
inviting
you.
us out. We
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much. Nice to see you.
Nice to
Thanks for
meet
your
you all.
time.
Nice to meet you as well.
Have a nice evening.
I just deleted the agenda's just gone. Yeah. So I got nothing.
Mark, come on down.
Thank you. I have, first of all, I just wanted to point out, I know it wasn't on the agenda, but it was on my memo, that this is National Public Works Week, and just to let everybody know that the Ayer DPW provides the residents and businesses in town with valuable services that are vital to the community. We provide clean drinking water, we treat the wastewater, we provide solid waste disposal and recycling, road maintenance and snow plowing and ice treatment. And then we also do sign maintenance and traffic maintenance, mow some of the lawns, and help out other departments with items as needed.
And
We
that's all
also-
of this week, right?
That's all this week. We also respond to emergencies and assist fire and police with, and other utilities when there's an issue and they need some heavy equipment or some traffic management or more water to put out the fire or whatever. Every time that there's a fire in town, our water department responds and makes sure that the pumps are pumping and the valves are open. The DPW consists of 22 people. We're in separate divisions: water, wastewater, highway, solid waste, and administration. But we do work together as a team and share resources. And I just wanted to point out, National Public Works Week is a time for the public to understand what we do and how vital our role is in the community.
Well, we certainly saw it during the snow, that's for sure. If anyone had any doubts.
So the first agenda item is the Stony Brook Pumping Station. we voted, we transferred money at last Springtown meeting to the pumping station. This pumping station is off of Westford Road, in between Nemco Way and New England Way. It serves a lot of the industrial clients in town. Our biggest customer in town for water and wastewater is Vitasoy, and they dump about 150,000 gallons a day into this pumping station. We've had some problems in the last 2 years with pumps and piping and other mechanical equipment at the station. The generator doesn't work, so we have to bring a portable generator in. And I did an inspection of the station and realized that the concrete, because of the type of waste that's going into the concrete, is all deteriorating. So the station really is in need of replacement. So we transferred the money that was appropriated at a previous town meeting. It was appropriated for the West Main Street pumping station. We transferred that to the Stony Brook pumping station. We designed it and bid it. At the time that we transferred the money, I didn't feel that there was going to be enough, but we hadn't designed it, so we were trying to keep the design as cost-effective as possible. But we had $450,000, which included engineering on the project. The bids came in. The low bid was $616,677 for the base bid. We had some deductive alternates to see if we could reduce the price. And if we delete the generator out of that project, we can get it down to $530,776. And as I mentioned, we have about $450,000 was appropriated, but we've already spent some of that money on the engineering and permitting. So there's about $421,000 remaining in the appropriation. So in order to complete the project and award it, we would need about another $250,000.
We appropriated $400,000 in UDAG money for this?
No.
Town.
No, we had a town meeting voted
But now you
to
want
raise and appropriate.
$250,000 more from UDAG?
Well, what I had proposed was to put a town meeting warrant article on this town meeting.
Yeah.
That idea was rejected, and was suggested that if we need more money, that we borrow it from UDAG and pay that back in a future town meeting
Why
article.
would we not have it at the last town meeting? We were there for appropriations. Why would we take it out of UDAG when it's not an emergency?
Robert?
Madam Chair, if I
Oh,
may.
you were first?
No, I said let him explain.
Oh.
Let him go first. He's better
Madam
explaining
Chair,
things than-
if I may, through
I can't see you
you
over there.
to the board, a few things. One, this particular pumping station, and I'm going on the advice of the DPW superintendent, needs to be done. When the amount that was appropriated by town meeting, the
450 was
$450,000
was transferred.
appropriated by town meeting or transferred. I had asked the superintendent that question. The bids have come in obviously higher than that. That number was a placeholder. Wouldn't you say the 450 was a placeholder based on the information known at that time?
Well, at the time that we transferred the money
Right.
from the West Main Street project to Stony Brook, I didn't feel that there was going to be enough, but that we may be able to add some deduct alternates so that we could award it.
All right, so-
And that wasn't sufficient.
So then the bids come in obviously higher. The warrant article that the DPW superintendent did put forth through the review system was denied because the water and sewer rates for the upcoming year had already been set by this board, and adding that would alter those rates. So in conversations with the...
Why would it have altered the rates?
Well, the rates had been set, this board had set the FY16 water and sewer rates
Right.
minus this amount, this additional amount of money, the $250,000. at this point would be added, would have to have been added into the rate model.
Oh, we could have used free cash.
Exactly.
Or you could-
I guess we're a little confused because May 11th was town meeting.
Mhm.
The bids were open on May 7th. You're saying that there was an article that was rejected,
Mhm.
and now we're being asked for how much again? An additional
250.
$250 because we had already set the water and sewer rates,
Mhm.
which is also has enterprise funds for such things like this, which is for rainy day funds, and then we'd have free cash. And now it's May 19th, and we're being asked for an additional $250,000.
If I may, just to clarify, one, the Board of Selectmen set the water and sewer rates, as you know, in March of 2015.
Right.
In the establishment of those rates, costs for projects such as this do impact the rates. And this
Correct.
is a water enterprise fund project. We'll get to the free cash in a second. That's in March. The town meeting warrant had to be approved, as this board knows, by the board and sent out at the end of April. The bids for this project, the information that's before you, would not be opened until May the 7th. So the warrant had already been set
Okay.
and sent to print.
Okay.
I can understand that the board's questions on this. What's proposed is, in order to get the project done, is that if the board authorized $250,000 from the UDAG with the specific, as we've done before, in the motion, replenishment provision in the motion from available funds for the fall town meeting and perhaps the annual town meeting. Otherwise, the project won't be able to move forward. The bid is good for how long?
Well, it's good for 30 days. I can get an extension for probably 60 days, but they won't go much longer than that.
And when was the original money appropriated?
The original, the 400,
It was at Springtown meeting last year.
Of 2014.
that was the transfer.
Okay.
I thought that, sorry, Janice, I thought that they were gonna pick up some of this cost, the companies themselves, as it's primarily serving them, correct?
I brought that up with them. Part of the issue, they had, Vitasoy had agreement back in, I don't know the exact date, I've seen a letter, the mid-2000, like 2004, 2005. They had agreed to contribute a certain amount of money towards the
I remember you
pumps.
saying that, yeah.
And I don't know the whole history behind that, but for some reason, that was not accepted by the selectmen. So that never happened.
Recall? No?
And again, I'm just going based on reading notes that Mike Madigan had in the files. So I don't know,
Themselves.
I don't know, there were memos and notes. So, but it was a long time ago that agreement was made and went away.
I just can't understand that from last year till we get the bids now, that even a borrow article for a limited number of years for $250,000 wouldn't really affect the rates, sewer rates, that greatly.
Why would it?
Well, it would-
If this is basically the water enterprise, and we've got money in the water enterprise.
It's not
Sewer.
sewer. There's no.
So we
Okay, so
we
it's
don't
sewer.
we don't have
Okay,
a we don't have
you
a
went
lot
to
of
water
free
enterprise.
we don't have a
Okay,
lot of
sewer, yes,
surplus
you're
in the
right.
sewer.
Sewer is lower, okay. All right, water was mentioned, though, okay.
And based on, to Selectman Luca's point, based on the fact that all of the modeling had been done, the presentation to the board in March, everything had been set, and this came in later at that point, meaning the request in the form of the warrant article, and then there were no bids at that time even until May the 7th.
Today's May 19th.
I just assume put a warrant article on for June 8th. We're spending $250,000 for the land on Park Street out of UDAG, and another $250,000 for this. And the way things
yeah.
are going, we're never gonna get it replenished, because OPEB and other things are more important for free cash than,
Infrastructure and, yeah.
yes.
I think that's a
I
good point.
agree with you. I agree with the project and I get, but.
And
do it.
I know this has to get done. I
No,
understand.
I agree.
that.
I don't think our issue is with
There's
Mark.
gotta be a
I think
different
our
funding
issue is
source.
with the funding source. And now that you explained it out, when you first started talking about it, I was thinking of the one we had rejected, the capital down the road here. That's what I always said,
Oh,
Robert
okay.
talk first, it's my
Right.
brain was starting to catch up. But no, I cannot, when we can do that, we have enough time?
Well, we're approving the warrant for the
True.
super town meeting tonight.
Through the chair, conceptually, I think that could be done. However, I add that the devil is always in the details, and without the town accountant here, what I'm getting at is, what does that do, even if it's on a minor level, what does that do in terms of the impact to the sewer rates? Can it be just done as a free cash borrow outside of the scope of the enterprise fund?
Out of capital.
Or other capital? I mean, I don't have those definitive answers in terms of,
I mean, we put $500,000 in capital, didn't we? $400,000 in capital.
Why are we not, if they agreed, and we've run into this before, and Mark and Robert, you were there when Mike Madigan made decisions based on our sewer contract up with our friends at Devon's that never saw the light at the Board of Selectmen, and I know we'd have to go dig through minutes, that who knows where they are. But Gary, you don't recall this, and I'm assuming it was before 2007, after 2006. I mean, this is primarily benefiting those companies, Mark, the Nemco Way, that area? I mean,
Right,
obviously,
it benefits a lot of companies down there, but it's,
Sure.
but the big user is Vitasoy. And,
And the other. Silpro.
and,
Silpro,
yeah.
Cantina.
Katina, yeah. But one of the, Vitasoy has just spent about $3 million on a new treatment system. So that's kind of where, they were kind of saying, well, we might be able to contribute, and then there were some changes internally there.
That was also
And,
because they were making the neighborhood unlivable.
Well,
Yes.
there was a whole bunch of
Yeah.
issues with that.
mean, it
But
wasn't out of the goodness of their heart.
I don't think out of the goodness of their heart, if I went and said, can you give me another $250,000, that they're going to do that. As a matter of fact, they don't even have a general manager right now, so I don't even know who you talk to about that. But,
So right this minute, we could go ahead and approve the UDAG request and replenish it at fall town meeting? Is that where we're standing right at this minute?
through the chair, the proposal is the authorization of the UDAG funds with the replenishment at the fall town meeting, given the size depending on the funds, the first replenishment at the fall town meeting and the may or may not a subsequent one at the next town meeting after that. In other words, a replenishment schedule to it. And if, Madam Chair, through you to the board, to the superintendent, could you just explain what would be the impacts of not doing this project at this time? In other words, whether it went, I know that the bids would have to, you'd have to start over in terms of it going, if we waited till the
Gonna cost
fall.
more.
Right, but I'm just,
I bet you're adding $80,000.
well,
Right.
just to rebid it is it's about a $3,000 to $5,000 to go through the bidding process by the time you
Yeah.
print stuff and send it out. It's hard to say what the impact would be on bid prices. I mean, my estimate, once we finished the design, my estimate on this was $520,000. You can see it came in way above that. So it's really hard to tell how these bidders are bidding things and what they're using when they put that together. In addition, we have had pump failures out there, and maybe nothing more will happen, or maybe
Could happen tonight.
something bad could happen. I think this year we've spent about $30,000 on repairs at the station.
And
It's just alone this year.
Right. Because one of the problems is when the pumps fail, we have to somehow get that waste that's coming in there out of there, so we have to hire a truck to haul it.
And I'm assuming that picks up the whole Westwood Road area.
No, those go by gravity separately, so it's really New England Way and NEMCO.
and when would this project be started and completed?
Well, if we had the money, it would be started, probably, it would be awarded within the next Selectmen's meeting, and then it takes probably about 2 months to get the pumps. So it would be started late summer, I would guess,
Okay.
which is ideal, because one of the problems down there is you're working on a very narrow site. I don't know if you've been down there, but it's you've got railroad tracks on one side and wetlands on the other side, and Catania-Spagna's increasing their railroad capacity, so we have to even move farther away from the railroad, and water level's down about 4 feet in the ground. So it's a difficult installation to actually excavate. We need to dig about a 20-foot deep hole there to put the wet well in.
So hopefully the project would be completed by
It
September.
would be completed before the end of the construction season.
You can't do it in the
And-
spring
Well,
because of the water table.
it's better to do it later in the year.
I don't disagree with the project in any way. I just, the funding of it.
Yeah, well, but
What was the winning bid?
It's Waterline Industries.
Which was the bid that got disqualified? Ineligible?
That was D'Alessandro Corporation.
So they're not even in.
Right. They didn't have the right
The
certification.
bid was 616,000?
That was Waterline Industries was 616.
Do you feel like we're getting gouged there a little bit? I mean, I know you're pretty. You're
When
pretty
you
good
look
with
at
these
the,
numbers,
when I
so
look at the prices there, and I've worked with Waterline on a number of projects. I don't think anyone's gouging us. I think that they're looking for work. They said there wasn't a lot out there right now. Kinsman Corp., I'm not sure why he was so much higher. Winston Builders, he told me he was a little afraid of the railroad tracks, and he built some money in because of issues he's had in the past dealing with.
It's a spur.
tracks.
That's just
Right.
that barely
Yeah.
runs. Yeah.
I would go to the number one bidder and say, listen, we'd like to postpone this to October. Would you like to hold a bid?
Well, the only issue with that is
Do we have the right to go to the second bid if that's not the case?
I don't necessarily mind going back and beating people up a little bit because it certainly happens to me every
They're
day. in
looking for
business.
work.
But then does that throw off the whole construction schedule? So we award the bid, we get the bid, the ground freezes,
yeah,
and we're into a nightmare.
at this point, we gotta get,
It's into
you know,
a
this,
nightmare right now.
I know, but now we're in the point of, we've gotta get this project done to understand what's about it.
So the money's been borrowed, or this has been borrowed, correct?
It's been appropriated, it has not been borrowed.
Okay. I don't know why we couldn't make this happen for the 6th. And if we're gonna borrow, I wanna borrow now, because
For the 8th.
I'm an amateur CNBC guy, but I see things going up, rates wise and stuff like that. Granted, this is not the biggest borrow we've ever taken, but
Is it a bar?
if we do, right now, it was
Yeah.
the UDAG, take it out of UDAG. What are the available funds in UDAG at the moment? You know, offhand, roughly?
Through the chair, and this does not include the 250,000.
He's always throwing his money.
Pierre found the money. Thank you. there is an estimate of 1.4 million in the UDAG, and that's the total, the unrestricted. And as Selectman Luca mentioned, it's pending, there's 250,000 for the land on Park Street. And there are perhaps some other smaller items. The town accountant does keep a spreadsheet on that. The concern that the town accountant and myself have about the upcoming super town meeting as a source for this is that the borrow would be for a wastewater function, and again, I don't have Lisa here in terms of all of the details of that borrow and so forth, but there would be an impact, that 250,000 in the borrow, because it would impact the rates somehow, to some extent, and we would have to, and this is, when I say unprecedented, at least in this experience, if the June 8th, you would have to approve a warrant article for that warrant tonight. Respectfully, procedurally, it would have to be, at this point, either Article 5 at the end of the Supertown, the Supertown meeting, because they'll have to start at 7, and/or it'd have to be a special town meeting, say at 6. If an hour would give enough, I'm just saying procedurally. The question is that it passes, if there is an impact on the rates, how do we correct that impact? Again, a lot of these things sound like bookkeeping and accounting and so forth, and Lisa is the expert on that. That's why the UDAG recommendation was put forth, in that it was cleaner. The board's concerns about paying that back, absolutely legitimate. I mean, we've begun this concept, because there isn't a repaying mechanism for this particular project. It would have to be a replenishment subject to the approval of town meeting.
So this is sewer.
Correct. Yeah.
So how much money do we have in sewer?
So, for surplus,
Very little.
I want to say it's like, it's under 100,000.
The water is much.
Water is
I know
much
water is
healthier,
more, but
yeah.
I thought sewer was a little higher than that.
No.
No, I wanted to say it was around 80, but don't quote me on that.
It's low.
Yeah. But we are doing things to reduce costs at the plant, but we also, we're kind of at the tip of the iceberg for having to start doing stuff on our wastewater system. This, as I didn't put all the details in here, but this has been proposed on the capital plan year after year after year, and it keeps getting bumped down the road. There were a lot of other capital improvements on the sewer system and wastewater system that got bumped down the road. And, we've got a 30-something-year-old wastewater plant that we got to start fixing the
I don't
doors
think
and
any of
windows
us are
on.
adverse to doing any of
Right.
that. Just look at East Main Street. I mean, we were
Right. Oh,
behind
yeah.
that 100%.
Right.
But it's just a funding source, regardless of what we have to do. We're still gonna have to, if we want to replenish UDAG, we have to wait for the sewer rates to, given your arguments, we have to wait for the sewer rates to get changed, to be able to find the funds to transfer it back into UDAG. And that's a one lump sum thing of $250,000. Because you can't take it from anywhere else. I think you can take it from other places, but I'm hearing the argument that you can't. Because it's an enterprise fund, which is baloney, because you can augment your enterprise fund any way you want. Through capital. I've heard
I agree.
I've heard the
I agree with your
arguments.
argument on this, I do.
I've heard the arguments, why can't we're gonna be using some capital for infrastructure, which is mostly enterprise, through the buy board. We've heard that.
This is all the more reason to go guns a-blazing at our new friend at Devon's about this horrible wastewater contract.
Well, it's not just that, but it's.
No, I understand, I'm just saying.
It's just, it's,
The issue that lies here is we have a much lower budget with the sewer enterprise fund. And now, as Mark said, we have a lot of infrastructure projects that are starting to pop up,
which again, I have no problem.
No, I know you don't.
Under this situation like this should never have happened. It should never got to this point where we're borrowing out of one fund and then having to wait to pay it back later.
So
That
why-
fund's for emergencies.
So why not free cash? I mean, isn't that what
Well-
we're paying our taxes for?
Well, the free
You know-
cash has already been put into stabilization. So we'd have to have a vote to pull it out and put it there, or the fall. If the free cash is certified, then you could do the same thing. But there's other people looking at free cash for other reasons too, so.
Yes.
Madam Chair, through you to the board, just two final points. One, to Selectman Luker, I understand exactly where he's coming from, and I'm saying if the board chooses to put a warrant article for June, I'm just cautioning that the devil is always in the details, and that we can probably do that. I don't have the town accountant here, and meaning I just hate there to be some provision under DOR or something that we can't, that would prohibit that. The second point, just to clarify, and I know that the board can appreciate this, I think that this is a case of the challenge here is part of it is the scheduling, if you will, of municipal financing. What I mean by that is the capital commit. This project, the original appropriation was set for at 400 and whatever thousand. That was based on an estimate, as many projects are. Nobody knew, superintendent or so forth, that was going to come in at 600 and something. That was approved last spring. Capital planning committee met throughout the entire fall and did the capital plan, did its job, voted its recommendations to this board. The request for a warrant article for this additional funding occurred at, and again, it's a timing thing, occurred when the rates had been set by the Board of Selectmen. The capital planning committee made it very clear to me after they made their recommendations that they were not going to revisit any requests for FY15, which is their FY16, which is their prerogative. The rates were set, and just another key point, we, including
Just to clarify, this was not a revisit on the capital.
right. The
This article
superintendent,
itself.
the superintendent in the town, nobody would have any price figures until the bids were open on May 7th.
No, we're not laying blame here.
No, we're just trying to
No,
figure
but I
out how this
understand.
all went
No, I
painfully
understand
wrong
the
for all of us.
frustrations. It part of it's a scheduling thing, especially where this comes on the heels, if you will, of the annual town meeting.
The other part of me is, if this funding was approved last May, what took it so long to get it out to bid?
Yeah.
Just takes time. You know, we have to permit
Yeah.
it and
So take a
have
year.
to hire an engineer, have to survey it, have to permit it. No, I could do it, I probably could have done it faster than that, but we're got a lot of projects going on, so it's just how do we get things done, and quite frankly, the engineer on the project was a little slower than I would have liked.
All right, well, that's something we all gotta pay attention to for the future. All
Any
right.
thoughts?
It's all yours. I'm
We
not-
got-
I mean, you know, we can put it off till next year and see what,
You know what? if
See what
we did that,
happens.
We could be kicking ourselves in the, you know what?
I agree. We don't know what
You
next
know?
year brings.
And do we want to?
Well, what is a catastrophic failure cost?
Exactly,
Probably a lot more than the money you're looking for right now,
you know?
would be my guess. If you're down there fixing it in January when it's 10 below, and it'd be a lot more money then.
Yep. So, anyone like to make a motion?
Oh, really?
Oh, I still don't know where the best place to, I mean, I'm still more apt to go with Gary's original idea and see if we can get it on the June 8th warrant myself.
When could Lisa get us an answer?
Tomorrow,
And you would need us to get back together to approve the
mean, we can-
article to be able to put it on the June 8th?
The board, through the chair, the board could approve the Supertown meeting warrant as it's set forth tonight. I mean, that's done. This could be called, it could be called as a special town meeting to occur either before the Supertown meeting or after the Supertown meeting. See, because the logistical, the timing is all three, as you know, have to kick off at the same time.
Right, I know about that part, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, is Lisa's going to be able to give us an answer as to where the funds can be taken from? Do you need us to then come back also to review, approve where the funds would come from to be able to
Yeah.
put it on?
Yes. I think so.
Potentially, yes, because also if there's an impact on the FY16 rates, and I'm saying if, there may have to be some kind of corrective measure on that by the board.
That's
Mary?
F,
Oops.
no, I'm just saying that's FY16 rates, so we still have time for that. We're not even into FY16 yet.
Right.
Right. Right, and maybe not. I mean, I'm just saying,
Right.
Mary?
Madam Chair, question. I thought, and I have a copy of the UDAG at home, that the Board of Selectmen controls it.
Yeah.
That you could vote to use it.
Yeah.
So why does it have to be, my first part of it, why does it have to be a town meeting warrant? So if you can approve that, then why can't you go ahead and do it and bring the 250,000 replacement up for the fall town meeting? And wouldn't this be cleaner? I know last week when I was talking with Robert, he's even worried about getting a quorum.
That's my other
Well,
fear.
that is the big concern.
But I know that UDAG, you voted money before. It's the purview of the Board of Selectmen, and one of the things is projects like this.
Right, but we also, before we dip into the UDEG, because we do have some other projects that are going to be withdrawn from it, we want to consider other options before we make the formal decision. So that's what we're trying to figure out. But yes, there is that concern
I agree, I think it's a good point.
because what if we don't get a quorum? Then what?
We have a meeting the next week and we authorize the UDAG money.
So then you'd be talking about
The
the
15th.
15th, the June 15th. If we were to do that, how would that impact you?
I can get this contractor to extend his bid date.
And it really shouldn't affect,
No.
I think you can see we're not against the
Yeah.
project, we're just trying to figure
No,
out.
I
this.
understand that. No, and I guess my disappointment is that, I had submitted a warrant article and,
Okay.
because when I realized how much that it was going to be over budget, I said, we're gonna need more money. And I don't know what the rate impacts are.
What happened?
That was submitted, I'm sorry, maybe
Well,
I saw it.
No, we never saw it.
We never saw it,
Oh.
because we'd gone through the review, and as Robert explained,
Okay,
it would have
right.
impacted the rates, timing.
Yeah, and again, I
da, da, da.
never got an answer on how much it impacts the rates. I mean, basically, you're not even gonna really start borrowing the money and paying for this
Until
Until
well
the-
into next year, next fiscal year, which rates should be set. We set them at the end of the year last year. We just went long this year.
usually set them
We
in
always
March.
say.
No, we set them.
Some of them are, yeah.
Really?
Oh, was it? I thought it was,
No,
October.
no,
we
that's
did the
something
No, I'm
else.
sorry, November. My
We,
mind's wrong.
we set them for the,
Oh, tax rate.
Yeah.
tax rate, right?
That's the fun one.
All right, so we're going to look into putting an article on for town meeting, the super town meeting. And we're gonna be talking to Lisa as to finding out what's the best funds other than a UDAG. We're gonna take our chances with the quorum at the super town meeting.
Wow.
And then we're gonna be back here on June 15th anyways.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
yeah, but we
Well,
need,
let this say, let me just back up a little bit. So, don't we have a Board of Selectmen meeting before Super Town meeting? When's our next one?
There's one June 2nd, and
June
then
2nd. So wouldn't June
9,
2nd
16.
also give us an indication if there's going to be a glitch?
60, yeah.
that we could move ahead to plan on having an article for Super Town meeting, but on June 2nd, we might have information that says, okay, cancel that? Would we be able to, and then do the UDAG, or do we still have to do the 15th?
See, I think we can get a warrant going. If it ever comes to the 8th, we can always push the article, move the article, cancel the article.
Fall. For
Yeah.
UDAG, replenish UDAG in the fall. Whatever.
But what we need to do is to give Robert the authorization to pursue with Lisa a warrant article for the Supertown meeting that will allow for a funding source for the $250,000 for the pumping station.
But would it be on a super town meeting warrant, or would it be a separate special town?
Special,
Okay. And are there like posting requirements
which needs
or deadlines?
14 days, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah. Through the chair, if that's the direction that the board would pursue, what would be helpful tonight would be a motion calling a special town meeting for Monday, June 8th. I would recommend after, in other words, as opposed to before. It's going to be tough, in other words, if we get the people there. So call a special town meeting for June the 8th to commence at, I would just put the arbitrary date of 8 p.m. because you can start late, or actually
You can't start
7:50,
early.
yes. Just put an arbitrary date, time on it. You can always start later. We've done that. And to authorize an article to borrow and leaving some latitude to the accountant at night to just put together the details on that. Then if that doesn't pass on the 8th, then this board next meets on the
16th.
16.
The 16th.
16th,
Yeah.
which we would then go ahead and approve the UDAG.
Yeah.
Begrudgingly with restrictions, as far as I'm concerned.
You mean with replenishment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So-
But again, the replenishment now, if we go with the argument that it's an enterprise fund, then the replenishment would have to wait until the rates are set next spring. And that $250,000 is figured in the rate structure to reimburse UDAG. Going by the argument that,
Yeah.
personally, I think that
Yeah.
we don't have any free cash, but stabilization or capital stabilization can be used, or a combination of such.
Just,
Yeah.
so, correct me if I'm wrong, this plant is dedicated to the industries down there.
Yes.
So our residents are really not affected by it directly.
I don't believe there's any residential connections of that.
So the rates are going to impact the
No,
residents?
what I'm getting at, yeah, no, but what I'm getting at is then, I'm not caring as much. I mean, and don't take that the wrong way, I know it needs to be done, but, if there's an agreement, which I'd like to see at some point, and I'm not trying to pull a former selectman, let me look back in the files and we call the DOR crap, which we hear. I'm just saying if it's in there somewhere, long before Mark and for Dan, then we should probably, have you seen the agreement, Mark? I know I've heard of it.
I've
too.
seen a memo, I can't remember if I saw the actual agreement,
Okay.
but I've seen the memo and some backup.
And I don't try to hold our businesses hostage, but I mean, this is something that solely benefits them.
Yeah,
But
Right,
I mean,
but-
you can look at it
but-
in two ways too. There's other things that they pay for that, I
Well, they also, pay a huge amount of water and sewer. We have tiered rates, and they're in a
Yes,
high
they do.
rate. So
But they also
so-
make a lot of money off that water
Yeah.
and sewer as well, waste, so. I would suggest we look at that agreement from long ago.
Well, we could still do that while moving
Well,
forward.
no, I agree with
the
you,
Union
but,
article.
but I think that's something we should look into.
Yeah.
Because,
so-
I mean, we discovered that with the wastewater at Devon's. We approached Mike Madigan, and he said no. And
Right.
it never got to the board, at the sitting board at the time.
So,
Is this the same?
Yeah, what I have in my notes here, in 2007, they offered to fund $138,000 improvement at the station.
Prorated, they can pay for the whole thing. 138,000?
okay.
That's what Vitasoy, that was what was in the memo
So
that
they
I
offered
read.
to
They
pay
offered,
138. Out of
the
the
town at that
250.
point had proposed to upgrade it, and they offered to pay $138,000 of that upgrade cost. I don't know specifically what was in the upgrade.
Okay. All right.
Certainly be helpful now.
All right, Gary?
I'll make a motion.
I'm going to say it out loud, you're going to write it.
Okay. Make a motion that the Board of Selectmen call a special town meeting for June 8, 2015 at 7:15 for the specific reason of additional funding of $250,000 for the Stony Brook pumping station with funding through available funds.
Second. I don't think we need anything else in that. It sounds correct to me, wording-wise.
Discussion?
Unforeseen,
Discussed it?
unforeseen costs of the Stony Brook, I mean, whatever,
Right.
I mean, that'll be explained, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry, the funding, available funds?
Available funds. Which,
Mhm.
just find out from town council if we have to be more specific,
Mhm.
and find out from Lisa. Get her 2 cents in.
It's
Alright.
kind of one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if
Yeah.
we go ahead and approve this, we're gonna, people are gonna say it's Robin, take it from UDAG, and our rates are going up. If we don't go before the voters,
Well, see, the thing is, if we had known this, if I had known this earlier by board, I would have brought it up, and I would have given the argument to Scott that this needs to be done. These funds, we have the free cash available, do it,
Right.
you know? And then we didn't have to go through all this bull. But we keep pegging away at UDAG, chipping away. Eventually, it's not gonna be
Correct.
anything there if we need something.
well, that is always
We've
my
been good at
concern.
replenishing it.
Right.
We've been real good at replenishing it, but
It
we
takes-
kind of ran against a roadblock this year with Zero Park Street where that wasn't part of the plan. They said, take it from UDAG. So,
Yeah, I agree. If it wasn't the bar for Zero Park, I'd be.
right,
Much
it
more
would be a
apt to-
little bit, and like I said, Mark, none of us don't want to do this.
Yeah, and I want to make that
Just trying to
clear to
figure-
people at
yeah.
home too. This is not anything against this
Yeah.
project or the superintendent. This has nothing to do with.
Trying to figure out the best way to do this. so.
Fund it so we can do it correctly and
All
get it
right, so
done.
the motion's been made, it's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Do you still need approval of the contract, or is that all set?
Oh, yeah.
So what I need to do is, we can't award it until we have enough funding.
Okay.
So once we have the funding in place, then I'll notify the contractor of what's going on. But until there's available funding, we can't award a
Ask him
contract.
if he wants to reduce it.
I can see if he has any ideas, but it's not a complicated system. It's not like we're putting a hole in the ground, putting pumps in it, and putting a little precast building on top of it. There's not a lot of
Yeah.
glitz in this.
And getting rid of the generator does not sound like a good idea to me in any way. Because it's
No.
backup automatic, right? Fires up as soon as the power is
Right.
done.
We have one trailer mounted one, and what we end up doing when there's power failures is driving it around and plugging it in, pumping that station, driving to the next one, plugging it in and pumping that station. So and this one, well, if there's a power failure, then Vitasoy's not dumping a lot of water down there, but it has a lot of flow and it doesn't take long to fill it up.
It They're doing work everywhere. I was down near Russell Farms in Reading today. That road's a mess.
Yeah, I drive through that every single
I
day.
know. That's why I said it.
All right, so you wanted to also do your solid waste disposal contract?
Yes, so our contract, we've had a contract with Casella Solid Waste for the past 5 years. So it was a 3-year contract with 2 one-year extensions. That expires at the end of this fiscal year. So so we went out for bid on a new similar contract, 3 years with 2 one-year extensions. And Casella was the low bidder. Their per ton disposal fee of $67.50 is actually what we're paying now, which is reduced out of their when we did their 1 year, or I think it was their first 1 year extension, we negotiated that price down, and so they're holding that price.
I was going to ask you, is that the biggest driver for the contract?
Yeah.
The price per ton?
Yeah.
Because I noticed they're higher on some other things.
Yeah, a lot of those other things are fairly minimal. But just to let you know, on comparing them, on the single stream hauling fee of $200, right now we pay them $250. Cardboard was something new. The compactor, right now we pay $250 a month, and that's gone down to $125. And we told them we want a new compactor because the one we have up there is in a little tough
And
shape.
they provide the compactors?
Yes.
And cardboard has become somewhat of an asset, from what I understand it.
Yes, that's why we put in a separate cardboard, because when we do separate, even though we call it single stream, we do separate the cardboard, and the cardboard has more value than the single stream. The single stream commodity is pretty low right now. And then, yeah, the containers went up a little bit, but that's a pretty minor cost in the whole thing.
And I've heard I mean, I don't go up there, but I've heard no complaints from Casella, from any of your employees or
Right.
any town
Exactly.
people,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, they're very responsive.
Okay. Eric?
To make a motion that the board approve a contract between Casella Waste Management and the town of Ayer for a solid waste contract, 3-year contract with 2 additional 1-year extension for the disposal of municipal solid waste and recycling at the transfer station.
Second.
And that's for signature by the entire board.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes.
Mark, can I keep you for a second?
Yeah, Blue?
If I can get
No, I
my.
have-
Yeah, I was
What's that?
gonna stick around.
All right, no, I just had a couple.
All right.
Would you indulge,
Yeah.
please?
When have we never not indulged you?
True. Just, I don't want to put Mark on the spot here. Just a couple questions I had and a couple concerns, and hoping that we could work on a better system possibly. I guess I'm confused because I hear things. I don't know why the street signs thing has become such a big deal for some people who have been out fixing them, or why our request has been like
I mean,
unreasonable.
I don't think it's been unreasonable. I think I instructed them to do it. Some of those signs have been there for quite a while. They're not ones that we just put up.
No, I understand that, but, I mean, we brought it up in the fall. Gary brought it up, I believe, initially, right, Gary, in the fall? And I guess the thing that bothers me is, we're not demanding that they...
No, you know how the guys are. They complain about when they don't
Yeah.
do something that's in their normal routine. They feel like, oh, why do we have to do this?
But-
And they're doing it. And I told them, I said, I drove around the east end, because I know you pointed out the Prony Park area, and there are a lot of other signs that not necessarily, the signs aren't put on the top.
No, and
But there are
honestly,
other signs that are older signs that we're going to
my initial-
update
and
that
we had
whole
talked
area.
about straightening the street signs. I mean,
Right.
I think what we had talked
I mean,
about.
stop signs too.
Yeah, stop
Right,
signs, but
right.
I guess the issue was, and honestly, and I think I mentioned this to you too, Carly. You didn't notice it until it was actually someone brought it up, and I think Ruth mentioned it to me too. It wasn't something that was on my, Gary brought it up last year, and I started looking and went, well, every sign in the town of Ayer has got 1.5 feet over them. Not the new street signs, I'm talking stop signs, no parking signs. And then I started doing a survey just as I drive through Westford, Littleton. I couldn't find 2, where I found 12 on the way from Westford Road to here tonight. Fine, they were installed that way. So I don't think it's wrong for us to ask that they can be.
No?
And then I saw that the ones were fixed at Peroni. I guess my issue is, and this is just maybe me being a prideful business owner. If I was there cutting the signpost, I would have straightened the sign. It's just,
Right, but we have a different process for straightening the signs, because a lot of those signs, we don't have enough concrete around them, so we're actually have to dig them out and
so
reset them.
it's on the
It's on the list.
Okay.
And like I said, we're gonna try to do an area at a time instead of, we're gonna do one on this street and then one on this street.
When I took the pictures, because Robert had said you have locations, so I happened to go down Snake Hill Road and saw the one that was sticking out 4 feet out of the top sign, and then I took a picture of it and sent it to Robert, who sent it to you guys. I guess it frustrates me that the guys did the Snake Hill sign, and then from me to Carly away, there was a no parking sign that's got that much sticking out of the top of it. They didn't cut that one, and I just don't understand.
It's engineers. They're like
No,
engineers.
I'm not.
No, it's just, we buy 8-foot posts and 10-foot posts.
No. What I'm saying is,
And they,
it feels like sometimes with these guys that if you don't spell it out for them, they don't do it. And I'm not trying to.
I agree with you on a lot of those things.
Like if I see something in the road that's blocking, I pull over and I move it. Some of these guys just drive by it. I mean, I know there's a couple potholes down coming here on Central Ave that it's like, how do people miss it?
Well, I've heard that issue too, thanks for calling us and let us know about the potholes. But we get DPW guys, police, fire driving through town all day. You can't tell me that they aren't reporting.
And that's the other thing that bothers me. And this isn't just on for you guys either. Like the picture that I sent to you about the basin sinking. I know you and Doug and whoever don't drive down there on a regular basis by any means. The water guys drive by that every single day. I mean, that couldn't have been let's let Mark know about that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There needs to be...
and I will sit down with them and I will say, you guys need to all work together, and when you see something, either fix it or tell me and I'll get it fixed.
And that's
like I saw a hydrant today, the cap was broken off of it.
They don't have to like each other.
No.
It just works better. And that goes for...
But I will also say that, spring is a busy time of year because we're still fixing fences and signs that were damaged from the snow. We're fixing guardrails that were damaged by the snow. We've had a number of people out for prolonged illnesses in all the divisions, so we've been shorthanded. And so, we're trying to do things, and we know there's things like putting the flags up. That's important in the community. And so we do have, like, they're supposed to be, I asked them to do something tomorrow, and they go, no, we got to mow the lawns because it's Memorial Day weekend's coming up. We need to make everything look good. So they have priorities that they need to make sure they get to also. But I admit there are some things that I notice things when I'm driving.
Well, and I'm not trying to pick, but I just there's another one on Willow Road. There's a stop sign that's about 3/4 of the way down. I'm going to fix it tomorrow because I'm not railing on these guys. But how many times can someone drive by it and not, or at least make a note? So at the next foreman meeting, hand it to Doug or Rick or something. You guys have your foreman's meeting. Well, we noticed 3 signs on here that need to be fixed, and I guess that's the stuff that frustrates me. And then I hear chatter that, the selectmen are telling us to do these silly things about cut the side posts.
No, I think, I point out things and they fix them. If someone points things out to me and I tell them they fix them, but they're not just driving around saying where are signs we need to fix. So I would appreciate it if both the selectmen and the general public would call the DPW, we fill out
And we
a
would too,
log and a
because-
slip.
and the thing
And we
is-
have the app on the iPhone that people can fill out.
Complaining to elected officials.
And what it is, Mark, and I know people take it the wrong way, like, I go to Peroni Park,
Yeah,
and people don't want to, like, if someone has an issue with, I'm just using hypothetically, the police department, or a small issue. Instead of calling up Chief Murray, who is reachable as any of you guys,
Hey, Chris,
yeah, hey, by the way, I always feel it's my duty as a selectman to bring it to you. And there's been stuff, Mark, that have been crazy, that I'd say, okay, I'll pass it on.
quite honestly, and the other biggest department that I get complaints from. And
that's in any community.
And,
I mean, yeah.
you don't hear 1% of what I hear. Don't you hear a lot more?
Yeah, because some of the stuff is like really
So we
frivolous.
just kind of filter it through and say,
Well, what I found.
really? You know?
What I found is, I had a coworker who was recently, she lives in another town. She was complaining about how there was a pothole on her road, nobody's fixing it. I says, did you call the DPW? She says, what? I says, did you call the DPW? She says, why would I do that? I says, because how are you going to expect the pothole to get fixed if you don't call?
Well, people have this
And,
weird
well, that's the thing. That's the point I'm
you guys
trying
are
to
going to go down and
get.
flatten their tires or
is
something. I just don't get it.
because, as I was going to finish,
I know, I'm sorry.
gavel. Because there's always somebody who thinks the neighbor did it. There's always somebody. So it'd be better if the DPW received 20 phone calls about the same pothole than no phone calls. But I think what we're also asking is that, if everybody just be a little more observant. That's what I'm hearing the math.
Yeah.
And, and help us so that they don't have to whine that they heard from the Board of Selectmen saying, all this other stuff. So they can be a little more observant. If we can get everyone else to, don't use the middleman, because things won't move as fast. Call the DPW if you see a problem. And you'll get a much faster response because you'll remove the middleman.
well, that's why, with the sign issue, I said, let's start in a specific neighborhood, and let's do everything that needs to be done in that neighborhood. So then those guys drive around, they see what needs to be done. I've asked the water department, paint the hydrants over there, straighten the signs, replace the signs. There's a lot of old signs in town that still need to be replaced. And some of those things don't happen overnight. We have a stockpile of stop signs, but we don't have, certain other signs, so we need to order those things. But, and so then we're gonna move to another neighborhood and do that neighborhood. So there may be things, up on Mulberry Circle that don't get done for a month or two, but we're taking that approach so that we go through street by street.
And the pride wasn't there, and this is before Dan. Some of these signs went up, no one cared. They just put a sign up, and I don't know, I'm an aesthetics freak. That much sticking out, and I think you are too. I think a foot of...
I didn't, quite frankly, I didn't know, I noticed when it's like the one Gary was talking about, when it's sticking up, a foot and a half, but with these little signs on it, like the one out here with the handicap parking that's sticking up at inches, I didn't notice that until I started saying...
I didn't notice it until Gary brought it up to me, and now it's been driving me crazy.
Alright, so-
But I'm just saying that, like, when you say they have to go back and straighten the poles, then that's fine. I mean, if it's not something they can do on site. But I know a lot of our street signs are starting to, if the guys had in the back of their head that we got an extra 20 minutes, maybe we can fix the name of street, Atherton Street sign as we're driving by.
Well, you can't, we're not just straightening them out, because then they'll just
Right.
keep doing that. So you have to dig around it and put more concrete around it. And in the trouble spots, part of, the ones you really see have a problem, it's because they're corners where we plow a lot of snow. And
Yeah, that's
so
understandable.
we need to,
It's undermined.
we need to dig down, and we're actually putting in sonotubes and.
We're in a loop.
Okay.
We just want them to be more proactive. I guess what I'm
Yep.
getting at is we want them to be more, we want the guys to be out there and making a list and saying, I don't care if I don't like him at this something.
Yeah.
I saw this.
Yeah, nobody likes
Put
him.
it on your list. That's
So,
fine.
yeah.
That's fine. I relish that role.
Well, even the police and the fire, they could, if they notice these things, if you could mention
Right.
in your meeting.
Yeah, we're back in the loop.
All right, well, this
Sorry, I'll
is
keep my
one more
mouth
thing,
shut.
that this is a resident, and I told him to contact you too. Something about the lower Snake Hill Road, something about the water main being shut off, and now they've got rust or something. Upper side was shut off, and they're on the old loop, and Pingree Hills on the new loop. Does that make any sense to you?
On
This
the
was
section
just at, like-
between Sandy Pond,
Yes.
that's something new, and I don't know what the problem is with that, so
Okay.
we need to,
I was on a job site with this gentleman today,
Yeah.
and I said, well, you can, and he sent me a picture of this rusty thing, and he goes, this was a week. And he said, he tried to explain it to me that he was
That's-
never tied
yeah.
into the Pingree Hill or.
well, there's a 12-inch, there's a new 12-inch, and there's I want to say it's either a 6 or an 8-inch.
Okay.
That's actually, it's not a cast iron pipe, so I think there's probably some iron bacteria in the pipe.
All right, well, I didn't know anything about it. He sent the picture.
Yeah,
I'll
that's the
send it to you
first,
later.
that's the first time we'd gotten that complaint, so,
Okay.
we are flushing the system right now. We are noticing, some rusty water in some areas. One of the things that's happening is, we're changing the chemistry of the water because, I don't know if you remember, a couple of years ago, we had lead and copper violations, and we haven't had any since, but we are mandated to start adding potassium hydroxide to the system, which changes the chemistry of the water. And we're doing it gradually, but I think it's getting to the point where it's starting to affect the stuff on the inside of the pipes.
Okay.
And so that's one of the reasons why they're doing it. Well, we do the flushing twice a year anyway, and hopefully that'll clean it up. But I think we're going to start seeing more short-term nuisance
Okay.
issues on some of
Yeah,
these
yeah,
roads.
this thing about it, and I made no sense to me about it, so
Yeah.
I said, I'll forward you the picture. This was like at 6:15, so I told him I'd mention it to you and go from there. All right.
All right, thanks, Mark.
All right.
More
Thank you,
observance
Mark.
from everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
It's cold in here, folks.
I know, now it's getting clammy, yeah. All right, so now we're ready to review and approve the Supertown meeting warrant.
Madam Chair, through you to the board, what you have before you is a warrant calling a Supertown meeting for Monday, June 8th, 2015 at 7 p.m. The warrant before you was prepared by Mass Development. It has been reviewed by the Ayer Town Council to be correct to legal form and content. There are 4 articles that all have to do with proposed zoning changes on Devon's, and per 498, it requires a Supertown meeting of Harvard, Shirley, and Ayer, all to commence at 7 p.m. The will of the board for tonight would be looking for a motion to authorize and approve the warrant. Members of the board would sign 6 original copies. The town clerk will certify tomorrow, and it will be posted by the constable. So I don't know, through the chair, if it's the will of the board to go through the content specifically. If approved, this warrant will be put on the town website and Facebook page. Mass Development will pay for the costs for distribution, and we'll get that going.
Gary?
Just for information purposes, we can't change the warrant at all.
Right.
Well, that was my point. I mean, it's like we can talk about it.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
So
if anybody has any questions, I could answer the best I can, but I think,
Well, I didn't see any typos, which is good.
make a motion to approve the Supertown meeting warrant for June 8, 2015,
At the high school, correct?
at the high school.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
All right, so
Warrant's
we'll do
approved.
6 copies for signature, and then just for the benefit of the action previous, we will prepare a special town meeting warrant per this board that'll call the special town meeting at 7:15. As everybody knows, under the statute, it can't start before that, but after. Correct. Okay.
You can just fill in, Tommy.
Yeah.
You've got the blue pen, right?
Yes.
Gary's our blue pen designee.
Tonight.
I never carry a blue pen.
Is that something like requirement or something? I've never really, I've heard
Well,
that.
You're making copies. You
Yeah.
can't tell what's blue, what. I think
Who wrote
that's.
in crayon? Oh, that's right. That was Christopher Hillman.
Well, it's really because of the old copiers. So so, but now with
Fourth grade
some of these
signature.
new copiers and everything, you can't, even with the blue, you can't always tell which is the original, which isn't. Unless you have to feel for the signature then.
Learn something new every night.
All right, so Robert, did you want to start talking to us about the BOS goals and objectives?
Yes, Madam Chair, through you to the board. In the packet, I have prepared a memo that consists of the potential or suggested 2015-2016 goals and objectives for the town administrator for the year ahead. And just very briefly, I had put in, as you can see in the memo, 10 suggested goals and objectives. I think that perhaps at a subsequent meeting or so forth, we could come to agreement on the exact ones or the number, which is the priority of the board. Some of these goals, as you see in the memo, I think overlap with the board. And I think that, as I've said in previous years, I think it's important for the board to discuss also what the three of you as a collective want for goals. So just really quickly, the preparation and completion and presentation of the town's comprehensive plan review and update for BOS approval. Later tonight will be the appointment of the rest of the committee. Town meeting has approved the funding for this in the amount of $10,000 effective July 1st. So the whole comprehensive update will be a year-long process with conclusion a year from now. Second, and this is a long-standing issue that actually predates me by actually 2 other town administrators, but an update and implement a BOS executive minutes system. The projected timeline is over the next year, but in talking with Ms. Antonellis, we have minutes that have been accepted that need to be released. I think that since Ms. Antonellis has been here, we do have to do a review to see what can be released. That piece is up to date, but get the whole backlog once and for all corrected.
Is that required? eventually?
Yes, yeah, it is required, and
Is there a time frame?
it's open on that, but we need to get the backlog
no, I understand.
clean. Third, complete the non-union personnel compensation study for the Personnel Board's review and fall town meeting consideration. So this, as you know, the Personnel Board voted back in March unanimously to defer this to October 26th, which is the fall town meeting. And I will be meeting with all of the departments on May the 27th with a plan to complete the study for June. When I say complete for June, so they want to have another public hearing and have this teed up for October to be brought in front of town meeting correctly with all of the information, and let town meeting vote on that article.
All right, so, okay. No, all right, so that's your goal, okay.
Yeah. Develop and implement an official town-wide wellness program and Maya Rewards program. Some of this is ongoing since the Benefits and Payroll Department has been created in terms of the wellness program. The Maya Rewards program that this town has always participated in, I want to formalize the process to maximize the participation. The benefit is the staff training, but also the credits that translate into a check for the town. I'd like to roll this out completely, both programs, the official rollout in September at the end of this summer, since this is underway. 5, continue with the public records inventory and disposal when applicable of the BOS and TA offices. This is ongoing. I must say, between Ms. Antonellis and Ms. Copeland in the town clerk's office, significant progress is being made in getting everything organized and where records can be disposed of legally through the Secretary of State's office frees up space. 6, develop with the DPW superintendent and town engineer a plan for unaccepted streets in town. The projected timeline I have on this is for Superintendent Wetzel and I to present to this board in September of this year the overall plan, with the key piece being the proposed streets that will require town meeting approval for fall town meeting to consider. So that is underway. That's the general timeline on that. 7, complete the update of the town's website to include the implementation of online permitting. I'm pleased to report that the IT committee this evening met and voted to authorize the website, and I know Selectman Livingston was involved in that process, voted to authorize a $6,000 update to the town's website, which will include the functionality for the online permitting and payment. They also authorized a $1,500 module for the appointments and committee, which we'll do a demonstration on, that integrates everything between the BOS office and the town clerk's office. And thirdly, the Economic Development Department has completed a makeover of their website content, which had been lacking for some time. And they'll make, again, this will be presented to the board very shortly in a future meeting. We will also be looking through the IT committee for the board's input on the website update, so you obviously will be involved in that process. Obviously, one of the things that this board and the administration is responsible for doing will be the preparation and presentation of the FY 2017 budget, which that process is underway. It's a big cyclical process. We no sooner finish with 16 and we're thinking of 17. 9, preparation and presentation of obviously the fall town meeting warrant and next year's annual town meeting warrant. And as the board knows, because we play a key role in this, it's a major undertaking of the whole town to prepare both the budget and these respective warrants. And lastly, I propose for number 10, the development, and this has come from the board as well, the development of a proposed land use department proposal for this board to consider. And I have the projected timeline between now, meaning June of 15 and December 15, that we actually get this whole thing soup to nuts proposal for this board to consider. As I think we have all discussed and experienced, the intent of this is to increase efficiencies within the land use departments that right now, and this is no reflection on them, but are fragmented, part-time in some cases, is to consolidate it with increased efficiencies, increased savings and costs, but most importantly, increase in customer service, defined as customer service to the public, but also enforcement where applicable. And I know we've discussed that. This board has made some progress on that, and I think with everything that's happened, let's get that teed up. So those are just 10 thoughts that I propose. As you can see, some of these involve the board, some of these can be goals of the board, and be happy. I may be missing something, there may be other ideas, but that's what I sort of propose for the year ahead.
Did you guys have any?
I like the land use idea. I think that also helps. I think it helps the DPW too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes you need an answer from somebody that's not here. Part-time.
Sometimes you need an answer from 2 or 3 people, and none of them are here.
Yeah. So.
But what about for our own goals? What are our goals?
Goals. I myself. I guess you're looking at me some first. We have to, and I will start talking. The MBTA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all in that one.
Yeah, I think we're all agree on that. That has to be, and we will I plan on going at them again probably tomorrow about what's going on, because they disappeared again. I'd really like to see this.
Is that fair? It's not really attainable.
Yeah, because I mean, there's really, all we can do is provide information.
Nagging helps, though. Trust me, these people. Robert can attest to that. You have to throw them.
He has said you're a good nag.
Well, I'm a good jerk too, so that helps too.
Yeah, but we kind of like them.
The windows. I think the windows here. I think that's fallen off. I know that money was
Oh yeah, I forgot about the windows.
And that got dropped. So I think that's something. Just off the top of my head, and probably 100 other things I could.
What about you, Gary?
Well, I think we have to kind of align what we want with Robert wants
Right.
to make sure that happens. And they have to be attainable.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it kind of flows downhill because Robert, kind of has to hold the IT department responsible, hold you know, payroll responsible for doing what their part is, so you can do what your part is. So, but, I mean, these are good. I agree with the train station. That needs to be rectified. But like I said, I was kidding, but I'm not kidding. I don't know if it's attainable.
Yeah.
Be done by July.
But
Of what year?
I'd say, you know,
15.
an honest effort put forth to try to solve the problem. But we don't have any say in it. It's difficult,
Mm-hmm.
you know. What was the other thing you mentioned, Chris?
The windows here, window project.
Yeah. I
It'd
don't
be
know how
nice.
much more we can do with them, but
Yeah.
I know you would put them up and
They would have been
let
in by
them come
now.
down, take them down. I know. But I don't know. I'd have to think about it a little bit, but we should really start this process in February because we need it to be implemented by June 1st. You know, you need a review done in 6 months if you want to do it the right way, which we really haven't done.
Something.
Well, we can do that. We can definitely, reestablish, the new goals in an earlier time frame for 2016. I'd like to, if we can come up with something, if, anybody else comes up with something for our next meeting, to come up with a little bit more objective discussion. I mean, I know one thing that I talked to Robert about that I would like to see, and if there's any way that we can help him, is what I have seen recently is little, I call them chain of command issues. He's the town administrator, he's kind of the top dog. And just little things that I've seen that I didn't like, that I would like everyone to understand that it's not always a good idea to bypass Robert.
How do you fit that into a goal?
Well, that's what I'm
An
saying.
objective.
That's what I'm saying. Is how would we help him on that? But that's something that, if possible, I'd like to see. Because just little things that I think that need to be fine-tuned a little bit. But I don't know, and I've discussed with him. I said, I don't know how we can help you, but it's something I'd like to put out there, and let's figure out how we can do it if we can. But if nothing else, at least I personally want it clear, and I'm sure you two are with me on this, is that we back up Robert, and we do notice these things when they happen, and it's not a good idea. Yes.
Madam Chair, through you to the board, in no way am I presumptuous in trying to tell you what your goals should be through as the board, but in looking through, I took just the liberty of looking through sort of the record, if you will, and so maybe some other food for thought for June 2nd. I know that this board has discussed in the past, and it's been a point of frustration for some, but perhaps the consideration of a more definitive policy with respect to free cash, if you will, a free cash policy. I know there's been that discussion. As we found in November, when before you know it, I hate to say it'll be November, but when the tax classification hearing comes up, maybe the board looking at, in terms of when I say tax policy, I know that all members of this board have discussed at those hearings, whether it's some type of tax relief or, where we're not taxing to the, let's just call it taxation at this point. I'm just throwing this out as ideas, potentially a taxation policy, a free cash policy or free cash framework.
So, for example, when you say like a free cash framework or whatever, are you saying like coming up with something like we're willing to spend this much in free cash? A cap? Or
it could, and I'm not trying to
or more of a criteria that we want to establish that would be used for free cash? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, some type of a mechanism. I'm in no way trying to subvert the finance committee or the financial policies which are in place, but I think we often get to, if you will, about March, April, and it's the crunch. And we've been fortunate that there's been a free cash situation. We hope that continues. Nobody can predict that yet, but some level of guidance or directive on what do we do with the free cash after stabilization considerations, after OPEB considerations, et
Right.
cetera.
You know, it's the way we kind of did it before, Janice, is we took some of the, we used to take all the free cash and build our next year's budget with it,
Right.
which doesn't work because it's
No.
not
Right, that's-
sustainable.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, when we had zero free cash, was that 4 years ago?
2012, 13?
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 years
it
ago.
was my first year.
No, 3 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
3 years ago.
That's when we stopped doing that with the free cash. But there's no reason why it can't be used for capital, which we did some of.
We
Right.
did do some this year, we
This-
tried to do this,
But,
you know.
you know, I brought it up in buy board to have augment Chapter 90 money for streets. You know, take 400, 500 grand and say, here you go, Mark. Here's some
Right.
more money for you to work on the streets.
Right.
Something like that, where the year after we don't have to do it, but if we have the money available, we do it.
Well, I mean, the idea is that it is the money that the taxpayers have paid, and that especially for something like infrastructure, so, yeah, it makes sense.
So maybe some
yeah,
policy
so,
for
but
that.
Yeah, I think we should come up with some type of, no one gasped
I-
this time. There was a snicker, but no one gasped.
I'd love to
But
work on
I
that.
think that would be, I would think that would be a great thing for us to kind of work on, to come up with a guideline. So, yeah, okay, so bring us something for our
Okay.
next meeting.
And then just lastly, and perhaps this ties into the look at the land use of the enforcement piece, again through the chair. I know there's been a lot of talk about our nuisance bylaw, and in talking to town council, our nuisance bylaw is very similar to, I guess, a lot of towns and so forth, but perhaps maybe the board wants to consider to some level, a level of like a bylaw review or something to look at, are we missing something? Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. And
I do think that there should be a regular system of policies, procedures, bylaws. Everything should be going through some type of a cyclical review. So, yes.
yeah, because the
I'm all
last
for
time,
that, yes.
Selectman Hillman was 2 years ago when we had 3 changes to the bylaws on enforcement with abandoned vehicles.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying conceptually, looking from a policy framework, maybe there's a bylaw we might be missing. I don't know, I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
Just
No,
for
you're right,
food for thought.
and I think, as I mentioned to Mark, I think that's a department-wide
yeah.
area.
Right.
Where we work on it. I mean, I know I mentioned to you about something I just happened to notice driving my daughter to school, and it was 3 unregistered vehicles. Oh. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Right.
think that's where, if someone else picks it up, it shouldn't be that we're stepping on Chief Murray's toes or Chief Pedrazi's toes. I think we're all trying to work together here on that.
Right. Small segue, did you notice Washington Street when you come off Main and you go up Washington?
I did with the,
You had the new
bumped
lines
up.
and everything
Did.
and removed that park spot, so, yeah, I was like, finally,
Just
50 years,
quick
50
question
years
about
like
that.
that.
Did someone just drive through the yellow lines after they were painted the other night?
It was.
I mean, it
Willow
must have been on
Road.
purpose.
Willow Road.
It
there
was
is.
on
Oh, Willow
purpose.
Road.
It was on mostly Willow and Sandy Pond. It
Yep.
was the guys that were paving up on 119 in Groton. When the paving truck was coming this way, they saw them doing it, and he didn't get the license number, but we did.
We can go look at the tires,
talk to-
probably.
talk
Yeah.
To Keating, and
Oh.
he was gonna find out who did it.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's
if anyone
yeah.
notices some tires with some yellow
I was thinking the same
on it,
thing.
you know,
Well,
do you think they could tell you?
There's been issues with the paving up there. I don't know if you probably noticed it too, where they
Mm-hmm.
dumped a bunch of tack at a couple of the intersections.
At the, right at the top of Littleton,
It
too.
comes off the trucks
Yeah,
when they stop at the intersection.
you can follow the trail if you want.
Yeah, they're coming down 119 down
Um,
Westford Road.
I-
Pretty much what's going on.
I
Yeah.
called Mass DOT because I said, number one, you don't know who, they don't have any point of contact on the project. I was pretty disappointed in the response I got. It was basically, well, what do you want me to do about it? And
Well, they're hired state contractors.
so
We paid
I
money to
am
have the lines
I'm
painted.
gonna schedule a meeting with the district engineer and say, this is gonna change.
And it's not like you paint the lines at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, they're
Right.
usually done midnight or after. I
We're gonna be
mean,
able to start at 10 o'clock at night.
yeah,
I
very
just thought of
frustrating.
one other thing that,
Okay.
because I'm convinced that the parking thing's gonna get built probably sooner than later. But But we need to come up with a parking policy.
Yeah, right, and we've talked about that too, about Pleasant Street and,
Yeah.
yeah.
We had submitted, I don't know if you remember this, we submitted a grant
Yeah,
for
they
a
know.
parking plan, so to speak. And the governor, the grant applications were due like the week before. Baker took over and then Baker cut the program. So we're trying to figure out how we can do that in phases. It was about, I think it was about $30,000 was what we had guesstimated, but I talked to some consultants and they said, oh, you could do it for a lot less than that.
Yeah, MRPC might be able to help us with that too.
I reached out to them and I haven't heard back.
Oh, okay.
But they've done a lot of the base work
Okay.
with looking at what the demographics are of the commuters, where they're parking. And
I've noticed over this bridge, if you look over to the right down below, in the grassy area, there's a lot of cars parking. Now, I don't know if that's in the courthouse.
No, that's
But-
the commuters.
They're all parked there. Now, that's a big open green spot. You could pave that and charge, you know, for commuters. If
Residents there might not like it, but.
most of them have driveways. I wouldn't think it'd be a big deal, but
All right.
just, I think it's important we look into that.
So.
Yeah, so I think so far we got a good little
And we'll
game
come up with
plan.
10,000 other things, obviously.
Well, I know you will.
Yeah, no, absolutely. My wheels are already turning.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Gary's done. He's given all the ideas he has. He has no more.
I have no more.
So, but yeah,
Go ahead.
so if you can kind of maybe clean up and some of what we gave you, and then if something else comes up, you can put it on the agenda for the next meeting to possibly discuss his goals and objectives and everything.
And
I'll look up.
the rail shed is gone. The old Bly Street rail shed, thanks to Robert and Gabe, is finally. Didn't fall down.
You're the one, Selectman Hill, that noticed it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I've been down Bly Street once in my life, and it did happen to stand out at me. But finally, Pan Am came and removed it.
Good. So,
One less place for my carrier to hide.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Robert.
Okay,
Just kidding.
town administrator's report. And
Okay, so you'll go ahead.
Yes, yeah. So under the administrative update, just very,
Motion to
did you say motion to adjourn? Just very briefly, under the administrative update, I do want to congratulate and thank the Board of Selectmen, the Finance Committee, the town department heads, and all who were involved, the various committees, volunteers, boards, with the preparation of the FY 2016 budget and the 2015 annual town meeting warrant. The town meeting, I believe, was an overall success, with all 41 articles being approved in under 3 hours. I believe that this is a testament to the town's continued commitment to open, transparent, and participatory government. We'll now be focused on closing out fiscal year 2015, as well as all the year-end functions including the preparation for the implementation of the budget and the items on the warrant. So I look forward to another positive year of progress for the town of Ayer.
Are we still waiting for the response from the Department of Revenue? On the fire contract?
Nope. The second
Hold it up
item
there.
is the appointment of the conservation agent at this time is withdrawn. The finalists that they had a candidate, the Conservation Commission, that withdrew at the last minute, and so they are regrouping. And as soon as there's a candidate, hopefully to have that agenda maybe for June 2nd, but more to come on that. The third item, I'm respectfully requesting the appointment of the following citizen representatives to the Comprehensive Plan Committee for a term effective upon appointment for 1 year to expire on June 30th of 2016. Again, we anticipate, the goal is to have the comprehensive plan work, the update, and the review done for board consideration a year from now, so in May. So I'm recommending, all these individuals came to see me. We had a positive discussion, and they seem to have genuine interest and passion for this. As you recall, the board appointed a 13-member committee, of which 7 are citizens. So I'm recommending for appointment Mr. Edward Kelly, Miss Jane Morris, Ms. Anita Sirocco and Ms. Amy Baer for appointment as citizen representatives.
So moved.
Me too, in second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
So we're going to be getting underway on this. The last piece, if you saw my packet, is with the all committees. This one should have a representative from the Board of Selectmen. So I don't know if anybody has considered that, or if you want to. The board will be doing appointments June 2nd and June 19th. But generally, the Comprehensive Plan Committee would have a member of the Board of Selectmen on it. So that decision doesn't have to be made tonight. It's up to the board.
I wouldn't mind.
What's that?
I said I wouldn't mind.
I think Chairman Livingston would be fantastic on the comprehensive
Second.
plan.
I just got set up, didn't I?
You said you wouldn't mind, and I think you'd be fantastic at it.
And I seconded it.
Yeah, you seconded it, so that was a
The
motion.
last time he
So
said
we
he
need a
wanted to
vo-
do it.
So we need a vote.
All the vote.
I got set up somehow. I just walked into something. All right.
Can we have a vote?
Oh, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Congratulations.
And through the chair,
Something went wrong because the last time you brought that up, he wanted to do it.
Chairman Livingston is
Changed my mind.
Chairman Livingston is on a roll in addition to being the board of this chair of this board. Earlier today, just for the board's information, the Board of Trustees of the OPEB fund, we met at 6 o'clock, and Selectman Livingston was selected to be the chair of that
Whoa.
board as well. And the board did take 2 key votes. One vote committing the funds from last June to be deposited
Finally.
on June 2nd, and authorized the funds that were approved by town meeting last Monday also to be deposited. Those funds will be deposited right after July 1st. And we agreed that we will meet quarterly. And lastly, we are going to have on the website, we will have a page that will have the links to all of the documents, the minutes, and who's on it. So that process is underway. The next item 4 is a reserve fund transfer from Chief Murray in the amount of $1,065.90 for the Animal Control Department. It is in your packet. This is to cover the unexpected costs in having to advertise for the position. The request is for the entire amount of the job ad, as the chief would like to retain. He has $600 left in the account he'd like to retain to cover any animal-related boardings and actions that may occur in the final 2 months of the FY15 budget.
Great.
So-
Oh, I didn't know for something.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
okay.
motioning.
Hi.
All right.
Oh, are you just waving?
No,
or do you
no,
want to
no.
speak?
No, I just raised my hand and you went, what? And then I,
No, I said,
oh, I didn't hear you.
So moved.
Sorry, this right, left. So moved, all right, second.
Did you want to?
No, I was gonna make the motion, but
Oh,
you said so
okay.
moved, which is perfect for me. Second.
Okay. We're having a little confusion here. That's all. All right.
We got it, you can.
All
take
in
off for a second.
favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so 3, 0. Through the chair, do you want me to wait for the return of
No,
Selectman
you can
Luca?
continue.
Okay.
Move along.
The next one, item 5, is a reserve fund transfer from the Benefits and Payroll Manager for the FICA Medicare account number 01919511740 in the amount of $7,000. The current balance is $4,338 in that account, and with the average biweekly payroll expenses and 3 biweekly payrolls remaining, this amount will be needed to make that account whole. You have Mr. Johnson's memo in the packet, and I know that he's also here if the board has any specific questions, but that's the, again, request for RFT in the amount of $7,000 for the FICA Medicare account.
So moved as outlined by the town administrator.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
And the final item that was, and I appreciate the consideration.
Okay,
that
so
was-
I just want to say, so section 1, you get the amount, with section 2,
Yes.
action by Board of Selectmen, section 3, Finance Committee. Thank you.
The last item and I appreciate the board's amendment to the agenda, is the house at 308 Autumn Ridge Drive, and I'll pass this out to there's 3 copies to the board, was an affordable housing unit, affordable house that is
Low cost.
that is being sold. And under the law, under Mass General Law, that when it is being sold,
Thanks, Kevin.
the town
Thanks, Kevin.
has the right of first refusal if the town would like to purchase the affordable housing unit. As has been established policy by the board here, we've never acted on the right of first refusal because A, we don't want to get into the real estate business, and B, we often allow these sales to happen. In this case, though, when this sale is completed, that'll take one affordable unit off the roster, but with the Habitat project is going to add two.
It wouldn't be classified as affordable again?
Correct.
Well, we're not in the real estate business.
Right, no.
So what is before you is a waiver. I'm respectfully requesting a motion to waive the town's right of first refusal with signature by the board.
Gary?
I'll make a motion, but we just got to keep an eye that this doesn't happen like widespread.
Right.
Well, yeah, exactly. I always assumed that if it was dedicated
That it'd be all
affordable, that it should be an affordable unit, but I guess you can stay there so long and sell it at market value.
Right.
Well, that works out well.
as long as you can get out of the agreement.
Hmm.
Make a motion that we refuse a right of first refusal, waiver on a property at 308 Autumn Ridge in here.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you. That
Cobb.
concludes my report.
Cobb. Okay, so. All right, so as we did last year, I proposed some dates to Robert for the summer schedule. He put in different dates.
Yeah, with no intent.
Yeah, he
Malice,
says that.
no
He
malice
says
or
that.
intent.
So in the package, we have unfortunately three meetings in June because when you count the super town meeting. But for July, he put July 14th, which is an normal off weekend for the week for the Board of Selectmen. I had proposed July 21st, so it would be the first week, the first Tuesday of July is 4th of July week. We always meet the 1st and the 3rd.
We've met on July 3rd before.
Right. So, keeping with the 1st and the 3rd Tuesday of the month, I mean, we could, if you guys want to do it on July 14th, that's fine. Otherwise, it would be the normal Tuesday schedule of July 21st.
I have no objections to either date. I'm just not here the week before the 4th.
My thing is, and
What was the last one in June?
I kind of agree with him because it's a month.
Well, I
Instead of
asked him,
5 weeks.
I says, was there a reason? And he didn't. I says, if that's the case, that's fine. I said, I'm just letting you know that that's not our normal week,
No, but I think.
but I don't have a problem
We
with
did
it.
that
I think
last
we-
year.
last year
because
we did the middle of the
because
month.
we caught up, because remember we had that week where we met
Right.
8 weeks in a
So-
row, like in October. Yeah.
Okay, just as long as you guys know that that wouldn't be our normal, and then in the same thing as August.
Right.
But it's yeah, that's fine. So,
I think it
do you
worked
guys
well.
like the summer schedule?
I do, because I think it worked well last year, and I think we met. Did we have to meet for an executive session maybe once?
I think one.
We did.
I think we had an extra meeting in June, like.
Maybe, yeah, 'cause
Right
we met
before
once in July and once
Yeah.
in August, and then we
Yeah.
got back at it in September.
So,
And we did have an executive in there somewhere.
Yep.
right. So again, for the public, the Board of Selectmen will convene a meeting if it is required, despite the fact that we're looking at a summer schedule. If we're needed, we come in. So,
17 times, 2 summers ago.
so
Not me.
do we want to? Are we okay with the summer
Yeah,
schedule?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, so Robert, that'll be 40 with 8. 8.
Gotcha.
Okay?
So what is,
It will be,
Remember when Jim was
it'll
chair, we had an
be
executive session every
Tuesday,
week?
so the board will meet June 2nd and 16th.
Correct?
Then it will meet on July 14th
Correct?
and on August 11th.
Correct.
Can you email this?
And then it will resume to the 1st and 3rd of
Correct.
September.
Correct.
And June
And
8th. and-
just so you guys know, before you go to do anything, I want to end on a high note, so, okay.
Don't we always end on a high note here?
What are you talking
No, never mind. Never mind. Just, you'll find out. You'll find out. So, all right, we're on the meeting minutes. I read them. I think they look good.
How about,
I-
I had
how
a
about new
ton of-
business?
I had a ton of
Oh, I'm
questions.
sorry,
You're just gonna pass right over
I'm
that?
sorry. The only thing was written there was me, and I forgot you two.
I have a question or
What?
a comment.
Yes.
I want to end on a high note, whatever that means. I really like to, again, look at, we've said this for the last 4 years, 3 years, 32B, Section 9.5A. Who owes us money?
Yes.
Who do we owe?
Mm-hmm.
Can we nail it down somehow? I know,
Or
it's
shut- or
a
shut-
rhetorical question.
Or
I
shut
know.
it off somehow?
Can we find a
Some
way?
other-
Can we find a way to? How can I say this?
Exert some pressure to collect.
I don't know if we have to exert pressure or find a way to maybe encourage the treasurer to look for these funds that the town isn't receiving from other towns, as aggressively as other towns are looking to Ayer.
Are we still we still have to be threatened with lawsuits before we pay bills?
I don't know where it stands. I know Burlington threatened us. We ended up paying them.
Well, they were diplomatic, and I don't blame them for what they did. Because,
But I'd love to be on the threatening side.
oh, I love that part, yeah.
Just very briefly through the chair, to your point with this on new business, what we have done, Ms. Cabri has, to the best of her ability, she has limited information,
Because she's not the treasurer.
correct, has calculated, and we have
On
set
paper.
aside in the budget, and I can get the exact amount, money to cover this liability, if you will. To our knowledge, the only one that was ever paid was the town of Burlington because they threatened legal action. To my knowledge, there is no, again, the way the statute reads, it rests with the treasurer, who does not agree with the state law. There is no system in place to bill other communities, and to my knowledge, we've also have not collected, to what you're saying, collected. So it is frustrating.
So she's refusing to do her job still.
She-
You're not going to say, I just...
Yeah.
No, I'll say it. Why? There's got to be some mechanism. I mean, the treasurer of the state of Massachusetts, there must be some Secretary of State. I mean, we're sitting here looking at money we're owed, but we won't do
Department
it
of Revenue.
because that'd be like, it seems to me like Chief Murray doesn't want to arrest people who are committed, pulled over for OUI.
Well,
I don't think, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It seems outrageous to me.
We
It's a
need-
law, it's a law.
We need to find a way to do it. Is Shirley Regional Schools, eventually these teachers are going to be retiring, who
course.
worked in the air for a number of years.
Yeah,
They're going to be looking,
And that's what this situation was with Burlington, I believe. I think it was
Yeah.
a teacher, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
worked here, then went there, or vice versa, or whatever.
so I mean, I think it's important. And,
Okay.
and if I have to mention every meeting, I'll put it on the
No,
agenda.
I mean, maybe we need to.
The other thing is, since John departed, thank you, John, for treating us so well. John Bishop. Sorry, Pierre, nothing bad against you.
Pierre.
He moved to another newspaper. He did not depart.
But we didn't know.
We're not as exciting as Groton, so nothing's gotten thrown at
Just
you
want to
yet.
clarify, he only went to another
We used to be.
spot. He did not
No,
depart us.
and in his credit, I like John. He called, made a nice phone call,
Yeah.
and we appreciate that.
But to that point, I mentioned to colleague today, is there some way we can, because Pierre's here today, but maybe synopsis of what we did tonight and put out a Twitter
Yeah.
feed or something, or some on Facebook, to let the public know that we're doing.
Okay.
Which-
Yeah.
We did that at one time.
Yeah, Cindy was coming at one time.
When Rick Gillis was here, we did it.
Yeah, and we've done
we're
it a
doing
few
at the
other
Yahoo
times, like a
group,
synopsis of major actions.
You've done it 3 times. On the website there where you were posting like a
Yeah, you're right,
synopsis.
you're right,
Yeah, you
you're
did
right,
it like
you're
3
right.
times,
Yeah,
so,
it disappeared.
yeah.
Okay.
Here, if I was, there's been a reporter hired, correct? That's what I was under the assumption. They hired there was a replacement for John.
Here.
That's what I was told on Friday. When she,
Yeah, it's Peter.
yeah. No, it was someone out of college, but.
All right, any other new business or questions?
I
You've done
forgot.
your quota for the night.
I was just gonna say, you don't wanna hear from me again, so I'll just.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve the minutes from May 5th.
seconded.
As the clerk, I went through them with a fine tooth comb, and I found no mistakes. They were fantastic. And,
You believe that?
Wow,
my new position.
what a load of,
Yeah, absolutely. They look fantastic.
Those are the ones I took.
all right,
No,
so,
they were great.
all in
I'll take it
favor?
back.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. So, now, last week,
Oh, I gotta sign.
there was a very auspicious event that went almost unnoticed. A certain member had a birthday, and so I want to take this moment
I knew this was
to
coming.
say a happy belated birthday to Mr. Robert Pombrian,
Happy birthday, Robert.
Thank
our,
you.
who puts up with all of us, which some of us are more
Vice
fun
versa, too.
than others.
All laughs.
I have noticed you're using a little more Grecian formula than normal, but anyway, so I just wanted to take this
I
moment
get it from
to.
Selectman Gilman.
Exactly, that's where I get mine too. It's all his fault. I'm telling
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But no, seriously, I just wanted to be able to say, happy belated birthday to you. Happy belated
Thank you.
birthday to you. Happy belated birthday,
She did
dear Robert. Happy belated
All right.
Sleep for 3
birthday to you.
Thank God my brother.
Happy birthday, Robert.
Thank you, Madam Chair, or COB.
Cobb.
Bob, thank you. Thank you very much.
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Yes,
How old is Mr. Pombrian?
he is 450 years old
How
and
much?
looks wonderful for his age.
How old?
450 years old.
450.
Oh yeah, all these preservatives, little plastic surgery and everything.
To adjourn yet?
Waiting for you.
I'll make a motion,
I thought Gary said it already.
in 1 second. I just want to thank Carly for getting that tree taken down on Washington Street that had been looking to do for 3 years.
Yeah.
See, sometimes it takes a little.
No, it's National Grid.
No, I
Had
know,
a
I know.
chain
I know.
attached to it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like a dog. Make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded. We are adjourned. All in favor, we're adjourned.
Aye.